Ladies and gentlemen, let me start your engine. It started in the 30s to run the alcohol. Big engines, fast cars out to run the local law. Them southern boys had so much fun, they thought they'd carry on. Race the cars on Daytona, and the stock car race was born. It's in our hearts, it's in our blood, it's in the cars we drive. As long as there's gasoline, this sport will never die. Let's go racing. Let's go racing. Let's go racing. Let's go racing. Fire up your engine, wait for the flag and go racing. Let's go. Let's go racing. Let's go racing. Let's go racing. Let's go racing. Some days you spin, some days you win. Hey boys, let's go racing. I'll see you at the track, boys.
It's become one of the toughest tickets in sports. Not just motorsports, but in all of sports. And 170,000 fortunate souls at the World Center of Speed are already on the edge of their seats, standing, waiting, anticipating one of the most competitive 500-mile events in the history of the great American race. After 17 years, the trials of one man in this race are foremost in many minds.
With his race truck driver Ron Hornaday looking in, offering a little last-minute coaching, Dale Earnhardt sits ready to go. He has 28 major race victories at this speedway, including 2 this week. But there's an empty spot on that trophy shelf. Dale, can you be the 8th man to win this race from the pole today?
I don't see no reason why not. We feel good about today. It's been a great week for us, and I want to thank everybody that had anything to do with it. It's been a big part of it. I want to send our thoughts and prayers out to my Uncle Jay and Aunt Ramona. We lost my cousin Lynn. It was my same age Friday to an accident, and so we'll send our prayers out to them. But it's going to be a good day. It's a great, beautiful day for racing, and everybody's up for it. These race fans are sure we're getting pumped up for it, so we're ready.
But Dale, is there any car here that can pull out and pass by itself?
Hopefully this Black 3 can.
Let's go high atop Daytona International Speedway. Ken Squire.
Sterling Marlin first came to Daytona in 1967. He was 10, set in a pickup truck to watch his dad in this race. Now he's the man of the hour, about to attempt to become the first man to ever win this race 3 straight years. His day starts as it does every Daytona 500, 5 a.m. in the morning.
Bumping right.
No chauffeur, no limo.
Got up at 5 and went to bed about, 10:30. When the bush race was over, checked it out. I ain't real good on turn signals. Give me 4 sunrisers. How about got any chocolate donuts this morning? I'm just anxious to get going. Been down here 2 weeks, and car's running great, and I think we've got a really good chance to win the race today if everything goes right. About the same parking spot as last year. All right, we ready?
Every year we make the same. Yeah, it's right time too. There it is, right there. Let's do it.
Moments from the start, Dick Berggren is standing by with Sterling Marlin.
In 1994 and 1995, Sterling Marlin had the strongest race car in the Daytona 500. So how about it, Sterling? You get the strongest race car today?
Well, I tell you, all the boys on the Kodak team, man, they've done a great job, and car's running great, and you know, we just got to be here at the end to battle for the win, and we'll just hope we're there.
Have you formed any pre-race drafting partners, or are you going to wait for the race to unfold to do that?
Well, you just got to wait for the race to unfold and see who's where, and you know, our car's running good, the Hendricks cars, Yates cars, so it's a bunch of good cars to win this race, and you know, we just need to be there at the end, and hopefully I'm leading with 3 or 4 to go.
Nobody's ever won it 3 times in a row. This guy could do it today. To David Hobbs.
Well, I'm with Ernie Irvin. Ernie, just 18 months ago, it was a miracle you even saw the light of day. Last Sunday, you got the outside pole, and Thursday, you led from flag to flag. It must seem like a dream come true.
Well, it definitely is. You know, it's just a dream come true that I was able to live and was able to race again. And hopefully this dream's going to keep continuing.
With the slight changes to the rules this year, these cars are even more even than usual. Just tell me how you expect to win this race today.
I don't even know. I expect to win just because, you know, we did all of our homework, and hopefully we'll put ourselves in the right position.
Well, there's a man who should know he's won it before the race. Ken?
They've all done their homework. 43 strong are out here on the grid, and they're ready to go for $3,600,000 in this 38th annual Daytona 500. There are so many great stories. We've covered 3 of them, and Ned Jarrett, 2-time Winston Cup champions, alongside again. I can't ever recall a year when there have been more human stories, more dramatic stories than we have in 1996.
Oh, a lot of great stories, Ken, and we've already heard about 3 of them, and certainly we can't leave out the 1995 NASCAR Winston Cup champion, Jeff Gordon. He won 7 races on his way to the title a year ago, and he has a strong car for today. How about Dale Jarrett? He won the Busch Clash a week ago. He won the 1993 Daytona 500. He, too, has a strong car. He's a teammate with Ernie Irvin. And there are many other hopefuls in this field that certainly have a chance at winning, and their role in this race will play out as the race goes on here this afternoon. Ken, I think the competition is a little bit closer than we've seen it in a long, long time here at Daytona. NASCAR has mandated the engines can have no more than 14-to-1 compression ratio, which is reduced to horsepower some 40 to 50, but slowed them down about 4 miles an hour. You'd never notice that out on the racetrack with the cars going around the track, but what it's done is brought the field closer together. The last place man in this race can draft with the man on the pole if he can get to him, and I think we're going to see a lot of drafting going on here this afternoon and a lot of 2 and 3 abreast racing.
And the practice became so intense. 4 times they had to stop it because they were getting just too racy. Well, also joining us for the first time this year is a well-known face to many race fans in America. You may remember him from 1980. That's when he flashed a victory in the Daytona 500 at the fastest rate that this race has ever been run, 177 miles an hour. That was Buddy Baker then, and this is Buddy Baker now. It's a delight to have you join us.
Well, thank you, Ken. And Ned's talking about the parity between the race cars here. There's one difference this year. The Ford, the Pontiac, they're in the fight this time. They have as much downforce as the Monte Carlo Chevrolet, so we're in for one heck of a great race today, and I can't wait for it to get started.
Let me tell you, folks, you've got in the front 10, 5 Fords and 5 Chevys. You've got 6 Pontiacs. They've all qualified. This is not going to be a story about tires as it has sometimes, not a story about engines as it has sometimes. True, there's technology here, but that's the bottom line, the technology. This race, this 38th Daytona 500, is a race for drivers. It is the great American race, and it's going to bring out the best in 43 of NASCAR's finest. Stay with us, relax if you can, and enjoy it.
CBS Sports presentation of the Daytona 500 is sponsored by Mobil Motor Oil. At Mobil, we've been changing oil for over 125 years. Goodyear, #1 in tires. And by Sears, the official battery of NASCAR.
Let's get real here. Brakes stop your wheels, but tires stop your car. That's why Goodyear's newest AquaTread, the all-season AquaTread 2, has a deeper, wider aqua channel than the original AquaTread to sweep more water away for outstanding wet traction. And AquaTread 2 has high-tensile steel belt for puncture resistance. Think about it. Brakes stop your wheels, but tires stop your car. Get a set of AquaTreads. Only from Goodyear.
When a traffic jam was 2 cars in the same town, Mobil Oil was there. When Lindbergh crossed the Atlantic, Mobil was on board. Mobil was in the world's first minivans, in the first space shuttle, and in the tanks of Desert Storm. We've been helping engines last for a long time. Mobil, changing oil for over 125 years.
This is incredible.
Incredible.
What is it?
The double supreme cheeseburger. It's new. Brand new.
Same kind of stuff as the Big Mac.
Yeah, but I like this better.
Oh, that's because Burger King flame broils them.
It's got a lot more beef. A lot more beef.
Gonna take all lunch hour to finish one.
The Burger King Double Supreme Cheeseburger. Less bread and 75% more beef than the Big Mac. And it's flame broiled, never fried. With fries and a drink, just $2.99.
Well, back to work. What's the rush?
Yeah. You don't think we're gonna be that busy, do you?
Where will you be when your battery decides to die? There's no way of knowing. So if your battery's more than 3 years old, don't chance it. Maybe this is the time to get to Sears and replace it with the one that's America's most trusted, the Die-Hard battery. Before yours dies, get the Die-Hard at Sears Auto Center.
It may seem a strange sport here in Daytona that starts the season with its biggest event, its Super Bowl, but racing is by no means backwards. Look at the drivers are even on the internet, including the man whom it took 17 years to finally win the Great American Race, 3-time national champ, Darrell Waltrip. What does it mean to a driver to go to victory lane on this day?
Well, this is the greatest race we have. This is, as I always say, our Super Bowl. Every sport has something that sets it apart from every event, you know, that they run, and this is it right here. But this is a beautiful day in Florida. It's on national TV. All my friends and fans are watching. I want to do something good for them.
Good luck, Darrell, starting 40th. Here's Ken Squire.
Let's go immediately trackside for more of the pre-race ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for today's invocation by the Reverend Hal Marchman.
Let us pray. Almighty God, on this wonderful day, here in the midst of the excitement of the world's greatest stock car race, we pause to confess that the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and those that dwell therein. And we confess that we are your children, you are our God, and we invoke your blessings on all of the people from all over the world who are gathered here this day. And may your eternal spirit abide with us all and make us adequate for all of life. Shalom and amen.
To sing our national anthem, world-renowned recording artist Engelbert Humperdinck.
The
the starting lineup for the 1996 Daytona 500. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the field of 43 start. For the first time from the pole, Dale Earnhardt, alongside the 91 Daytona champion, Ernie Irvan. In row 2, two-time and going for 3 in a row, Sterling Marlin. And beside him, Ken Schrader. For row 3, twice a runner-up in the 500, Texas Terry Labonte and John Andretti of Indianapolis. Going to row 4, the 93 500 winner, Dale Jarrett, and the defending Winston Cup champion, Jeff Gordon. In row 5, it's Wally Dallenbach Jr. and Ricky Rudd. Row 6 is Michael Waltrip, first ride for the Wood Brothers and Morgan Shepherd. Row 7, Ward Burton and the 26-year-old Kentucky native Jeremy Mayfield. Row 8, Mark Martin and Jeff Burton. For row 9, it's Mike Wallace and Elton Sawyer. In row 10, Pennsylvania's Mr. Excitement Jimmy Spencer and Ted Musgrave. In row 11, the 85 and 87 Daytona champion Bill Elliott and the 1990 winner Derek Cope. In row 12, the 29th consecutive Daytona 500 for Dave Marcus and Loy Allen Jr. Row 13 is Robert Presley and Steve Grissom, winner yesterday in the Grand National race. Row 14, Johnny Benson and Dick Trickle. For row 15, it's Kyle Petty and Chad Little. Row 16 is Rick Mast and Lake Speed. Row 17, Kenny Wallace and Jeff Purvis. Row 18, Bobby Labonte and the sophomore from Maine, Ricky Craven. In row 19, it's Joe Nemechek and the 86 winner, Jeff Bodine. In row 20, driving for Richard Petty, Bobby Hamilton, and the 89 winner of the 500 alongside Darrell Waltrip. In row 21, Brett Bodine and Hut Strickland. And starting 43rd on the field, Rusty Wallace. The field about to roll out. 24 Fords, 13 Chevrolets, 6 Pontiacs for the 38th running of the Daytona 500. Dale Jarrett's camera giving us these pictures. Most ever onboard cameras, 9 for this Daytona 500. The field rolling away, ladies and gentlemen. We're just about ready to go racing here on CBS with the lion of the races, the Daytona 500. Green flag coming up. Stay with us.
The job needs 4 guys now, and the guys need all their equipment. You're working harder than ever. You need a truck that does too. Meet the all-new 1997 Ford F-150, the only full-size pickup with a standard Super Cab third door, 60/40 split rear bench, and standard dual airbags, plus a taller cab for more hat and boot room than ever. After all, the guys aren't getting any smaller. The new Ford F-150. Strength after strength after strength.
Your best bet is a Best Western. Call 1-800-528-1234 or your travel agent.
When it comes to endurance racing, there's nothing like the Baja. 1,000 miles of dust, heat, and terrain so rough it can shake a truck to pieces, which makes the Baja the perfect place to prove just how tough the Duralast battery really is. So the next time you hit the open road, don't settle for anything less, because the battery that ran the Baja is the same Duralast battery you can depend on to start your truck, and it's the one we stock at AutoZone. The Duralast battery. Power you can depend on.
At Prime Star, we think everybody should be able to enjoy mini-dish satellite television. At the same time, we believe that nobody should have to pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars to buy a dish. So with Prime Star, there's no equipment to buy. Our dish comes with the service. along with 95 channels, digital picture, digital sound. And it all starts at about $1 a day. Call 1-800-PRIME-STAR and enjoy.
The first of 3 preliminary laps has been completed. Field getting set for a start. Take a look at the weather. Gives us a chance to say what we like to say best. You couldn't have a better day for a race.
Ken, you're right about that. 59 degrees, these motors will pull like you wouldn't believe today.
We're running on a 2.5-mile asphalt tri-oval, banking 31 degrees in the turns, 18 degrees on the tri-oval, 6 degrees on the backstretch.
And there you see the race analysis. It's $3.6 million at stake. 500 miles, 200 laps the distance, and some guy named Baker set the track record for 500 miles at 177. 9 in-cars today, buddy. 9 of them. Count them. 9. Take a look at them, for that matter. The pole sitter, first time in his career. Dale Earnhardt for the 500. Onboard camera looking pretty relaxed out there in a seat he puts in himself. And Sterling Marlin going for 3 in a row, what no one has ever done before. It's the look from on top of car number 4. Ken Schrader, he'll be starting in 4th position beside Marlin in the car number 25. Remember, he had his hands full at Talladega, end over end, side over side, some 9 times when last we saw him on CBS this past August. And here's Dale Jarrett, 93 winner that gave us that great finish when Ned got to call him home.
That was a special day.
The guy a lot of people say is going to surprise today. Jeff Gordon will start in 8th position, and there's the view from car number 24, the DuPont car. And coming up next, a major dark horse. This is Cale Yarborough's number 98, the RCA car, and Jeremy Mayfield. He has run as fast as anyone all week. But the most popular driver in the history of NASCAR, year after year, 11 straight, Bill Elliott, back there in 21st position. Don't discount his chances here today. Spotters standing by. They'll have their hands full with this field running so tight. Two cars have already pulled and gone to the rear. The 11 of Brett Bodine, the 18, the Joe Gibbs car, Bobby Labonte. Remember, he rolled over the other day, and there's 18 on pit road, and getting ready to come back out again after they made this quick stop.
What he did is just come in and top off the fuel. They've run a couple of laps here under caution, and, you know, that might give him an extra lap under green flag conditions and help him out later on. Darrell Waltrip also stopped.
As to those other cars carrying onboard cameras, here's Mark Martin. He squeezed back into the 15th position in this all-star field. Martin, number 6 in the Valvoline car. And back in 14th, old DW. Darrell Waltrip celebrated, what, his 49th birthday, starting 40th today. Car number 17. Took him 17 years to win this race. Earnhardt thinking about the same thing right now as he gets ready to go.
You see all of those seagulls, and they're going to be flying away there in a little bit when those cars come down that backstretch at full speed.
Ned, you see the cars moving back and forth there, putting a little heat into the tires before they drop the green flag. That's real important to get the tires up where they get maximum grip when you go down in turn 1.
Come fly away with us on CBS into the world of NASCAR stock car racing today. Only one race has been run in less than 3 hours. Baker did it at 2 hours, 57 minutes. There you see Earnhardt on the pole. We don't expect that kind of race today, but here again, that's why they run races. You never can tell. Green, this time by.
For those technical-minded people, these cars can go about 50 laps on a tank of fuel.
Pace car's bringing him down. Pace car's still out. Watch. There's the move. It's in. It's on.
Looks like Ernie Irvin might have a little jump on Dale Earnhardt as they go into turn one there. Usually Earnhardt gets a tremendous jump, but as you can see, Irvin on the outside there getting side by side with Earnhardt as they start down the long back straightaway here.
And 3 wide. Marlin to the inside. We talked about how racy they were in practice. 3 times they had to bring them in. 4.
Because they were racing 2 and 3 abreast.
And 4 wide going into turn 1 once.
But Marlin had to back off that time going into the turn.
Look how far Earnhardt has slipped back through the field. He dropped some 8 or 9 positions. That's him right there in the 3 car. He starts down the front straightaway. He did not have a good start.
Well, he wanted to lead that first lap. There are 5 bonus points that goes to any driver who leads a lap.
4 wide for a moment through the tri-oval as Earnhardt hung it on the bottom. Staying in front, Ernie Irvin, Schrader second, Marlin third, John Andretti up to 4th, Jeff Gordon in there in 5th.
It takes about 2 laps for these cars to get up to full speed because of the restrictions that are put on the carburetor and the engines.
Riding with Gordon. See Schrader pocketed just down inside of him, John Andretti just in front.
You know, Ned, just as it was in the 125, you see Ernie Irvin moving along there. That car is really hooked up. The people that hadn't got to watch practice this week, the Fords and the Pontiacs have really closed the gap in downforce. The cars really handle as well as Chevrolets, and where, as you can see right now, they can run high or low. It's really fast this year.
Going high. Look how high he's going, trying to take over the lead up there. Jeff Gordon's going to try to follow him through, and look what he's doing for Ernie Irvin.
Dropping him back. That middle is not the place to be.
Absolutely not. He wants to get out of there as quick as he can.
Schrader leading.
Here comes Earnhardt, making it 4 deep, going under Dale Jarrett and Ernie Irvin. Jarrett backed off and let Irvin get back in. That's his teammate, so he wanted to give him a spot back before he went too far back.
You know, that's an average day at the office for Earnhardt. He makes those moves all 500 miles of this race. That's very common for him to make a move like that.
Back to the tri-oval. 7.5 miles down with Schrader out in front. Dick Berggren has this report.
Richard Childress says don't worry about his driver, Dale Earnhardt. They just got to run on him at the start. Nothing's wrong with the car. They are fine. Ken Squire.
Locked in the battle for 5th place with Gordon. There you see Gordon trying the outside. They've got Labonte in the middle.
Now, Terry's a very patient person. He'll fall out of that group. He does not like the middle part of this pack, I guarantee you.
He is a cool customer.
See John Andretti there, the 37 car. Everybody says he's a dark horse in this race. I don't think he's dark horse. He's run well all week long. In practice, he's been one of the fastest cars here.
So versatile, just like his famous uncle. Midget, sprint, stocks.
Of course, his famous uncle is Mario Andretti, who won the Daytona 500 back in 1967. There they go.
For the lead. Right back at it another time. Earnhardt squirrels that car onto the bottom of the track, squares it away in turn number 2. What a move, and here comes Texas Terry right along with him. Front of the field, Earnhardt is there, Labonte, Ernie Irvin moving back up. There you see Schrader in 4th. Then it's Sterling Marlin fading a bit high, and back to the inside comes John Andretti in number 37. Smooth and easy thus far. The best of the best here in the 500 as you look back over the field. Nobody's going to get a chance to sit down if they keep running like this. It's the 3rd different guy to lead thus far.
See Terry Labonte on the outside there now. If Ernie Irvin gets behind Dale Earnhardt, you talk about a fast twosome. Those guys will go to war here.
Bill Elliott easing on up the track in number 94.
And just in front of him, that's Jeff Burton there with his new ride in the Roush car.
Elliott back there in 19th spot at the present time.
This is a new look for Dale Jarrett there. He's the 3rd car on the inside. The number 88 car. He's been very, very fast in practice all week long here.
Elliott's picked up just 2 spots from the start. Interval 1st to 43rd. Interval 1st to 43rd. 3.6 seconds.
And that's what about the space that it takes to put them in, because they're running that close together.
Okay, Ned, we have the first situation where we have team cars fixing to get together here. Dale's right behind Ernie Irvin. Do you think it's going to start working this early in the race?
He's been trying his best to help Ernie get back up there after Ernie got sort of hung out there in the middle a little bit ago.
Cancel that plan on the outside there. Terry Labonte and Schrader are hooked up. You see them on the outside there. They're going to work as hard as they can to get back to the front also.
Of course, they're teammates as well from the Hendrick Motorsports team.
Terry Labonte, who won 3 races last year, looking good at the present time. He's another guy. Take a look at some of this interval. I mean, there isn't any. But that's what the interval is through lap 6. Over the front 5 of the field, Earnhardt, Irvin, Jarrett, Labonte, and Dallenbach in that white and black numbered 15, having a terrific run. That's a one-race-only deal for the Bud Moore team. One of the great names in NASCAR racing, coming here without a sponsor, picked one up at the last minute, and Dallenbach has picked that car up into number 15 into the 5th position. Losing one. Dallenbach under heavy pressure from Schrader, Martin, Ward Burton in the 22. That's the leading Pontiac in the race. Ward Burton's number 22, 3 wide, going to 1.
Dale Jarrett got caught in the middle that time.
See Dallenbach there. He may have one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. He's now battling it out for 3rd spot there. He's on the bottom side of Terry Labonte as they go down the back straightaway.
Dallenbach, who started in 9th position today, creeping along on the inside.
One car has slowed dramatically coming off of turn 2. It is Dick Trickle off the pace.
And he was having a great run in that final happy hour of practice on Saturday. He was as formidable as anything out here. Now the car is slowing down. Oh, car in trouble. It's Jeff Gordon in the wall. Warden pasted the wall, picked it back up. He's trying to work his way to the bottom of the track. He couldn't get in. Everybody's still squirrely. There goes the 29. The guy that won yesterday, Grissom loose. He gets tagged by Nemechek. 2 more cars spinning. Is that Rusty Wallace getting tagged? Wallace working his way up, and Rick Mast in that collision. Well, that's what we were concerned about when you run them that tight together. Gordon made an incredible recovery, but behind him, everybody trying to take evasive action.
You see Earnhardt waving there to let everybody know there's a problem on the racetrack. That's so people don't run up behind him too fast and maybe collect him.
Jeff Gordon, who tagged the wall, coming off 4. Grissom's number 29. Let's get to Mike Joy.
Jeff Gordon says he was hit from behind. He has a rear tire going down, and he reports no fuel pressure. They may put this car behind the wall or take it to the garage, Ken.
Cut a line.
He's got a lot of damage on that car. I noticed the rear end housing looks like it's moved over a little bit, and the right front was mashed down pretty bad.
And probably what it did is mash the fuel line shut. That doesn't allow him to get fuel from the fuel cell through the fuel pump to the carburetor.
I don't think he's going to make it back. He stopped on the back straightaway here. You see him motioning right now. He would love for somebody to come out and push him around. They'll be out shortly to bring him back to the pits.
Curtain down on car number 24, and it looks like it may be curtains for Jeff Gordon here this afternoon. The Hoosier hotshot in trouble early in this Daytona 500.
I would guess we'll see him back in the race, but certainly his chances of winning this race have been practically diminished.
Watch Gordon at number 24.
High up on the racetrack. They're almost 3 deep there, and yes, he does get tagged just a little bit
That's
from
Jeremy Mayfield just behind him in the RCA car. He got into him and turned him in. He just got into the wall pretty hard there.
What a recovery.
Now behind him, that's just a chain reaction when you have everybody slowing down. The cars further back in there couldn't react fast enough.
Here's Gordon getting tagged.
Boy, he tagged that wall pretty good, too. Trying to get it down to the inside, but as Buddy said, as everybody else trying to take evasive action, try to slow down, they get hit, spun around, and a lot of things going on then behind him.
All that smoke you see there, that's the tires rubbing on the inner panels and all. Wow, he hits hard.
Mayfield right behind him. Fades down, and Mayfield getting through there. But it's the ones just behind those two who really had a story to tell. Take a look at this angle.
See, Jeremy gets just into the left rear corner and hard into the wall. Jeff Gordon goes.
What, 187 miles an hour, and he still picked it up. Boy, a great move.
There goes Steve Grissom across the grass in the 29 car.
And unfortunately, he slides back up on the track and gets tagged by
Nemechek.
Joe Nemechek.
There you see Wallace, who'd started dead last, and Rick Mast in the number 1, landing right in the center of the track. That was in lap 8.
Now, maybe not too much damage to Rick Mast and Rusty Wallace. They've both been in the pits and have gone back out.
But a lot of damage to Joe Nemechek. Looks like the end of the day for him, as well as for Grissom. We'll be back with more of the 38th running of the Daytona 500 after these messages.
Put 700 of the world's most powerful horses together, and what do you get? You get out of the way. The Budweiser Ken Schrader stock car. See you at the races.
Hugh McCaddick here. This just in. Right now, get 2 McDonald's double cheeseburgers or 2 sausage biscuits with egg for $2. 2 for 2. That's a big deal. Up next, America lands on the moon. Wahoo! Oh, sorry, old script.
We're all in search of answers. See us for the ones about cars.
Let's get real here. Brakes stop your wheels, but tires stop your car. That's why Goodyear's newest AquaTread, the all-season AquaTread 2, has a deeper, wider aqua channel than the original AquaTread to sweep more water away for outstanding wet traction. And AquaTread 2 has high-tensile steel belts for puncture resistance. Think about it. Brakes stop your wheels, but tires stop your car. Get a set of AquaTreads. Only from Goodyear.
When a traffic jam was 2 cars in the same town, Mobil Oil was there. When Lindbergh crossed the Atlantic, Mobil was on board. Mobil was in the world's first minivans, in the first space shuttle, and in the tanks of Desert Storm. We've been helping engines last for a long time. Mobil, changing oil for over 125 years.
The countdown has begun to the planet's biggest musical event. Ellen DeGeneres hosts the 38th Annual Grammy Awards, February 28th on CBS.
Today's overhead shots are courtesy of the Goodyear blimp Stars and Stripes, based in Pompano Beach, Florida. At the controls, Captain Richard Daniels from Burbank, California. Under caution, watching Jeff Gordon's car be pushed back behind the wall, and for the second straight year on lap 8, Joe Nemechek out of this event. That's exactly the lap where he left activities in 1995. Joe Nemechek of Lakeland, Florida, back in the garage area. Here's Dick Berger.
How quickly fortunes can change at Daytona. Yesterday, Steve Grissom won the Grand National race here. Today, he is in the pit area as his crew works over a badly damaged car. The back end of this automobile is all torn up, and he is going to have problems getting back up to speed. There's more to the story. This is only the second time they've tried to run the car. They wrecked it in practice here when they were trying to do some testing much earlier. To Mike Joy.
Dick, someone has an oil leak, or someone in that impact sprayed a lot of oil from the dry sump tank. Bill Elliott's windshield is coated with oil, and so is Ward Burton's. Burton radioed the crew thinking it might be his car leaking. They said, nope, it was somebody involved in that incident, or it was somebody else. Stay out there. Ken?
Well, the bet would be right here, number 24, Ray Ebernham and company, rolling that Rick Hendrick DuPont car back into the garage area.
This is the second year in a row Jeff Gordon's had trouble in the 500. Last year they dropped the jack in and bent the front end all up on the car. Now you see him working on the car, trying to get it back out here because those points are so valuable if they can get the car where to go back into the race.
field, reorganizing. Here you see Rusty Wallace. Remember, he spun. You see a little tape on that car. That new paint job, you can't tell if it's tape or paint. It's tape up there over the fender on the right side.
Like, but no major damage there. Let's go to the pits and David Hobbs.
Jeff Gordon, current champion. Lousy way to start the year. What happened?
I don't know. Maybe you could tell me better. You know, it's just real tight racing out there, and I got to the outside of Mayfield going into 3, and I was up against the wall as far as I could get to make sure we didn't touch, and somehow we did touch. So bad deal. We had a pretty good car, and we were just waiting for everybody to get single file so we could start racing. It's so tight out there, and man, you didn't know what was going to happen.
It looked incredibly close. I mean, the whole field just went round as one big block there for those first 8 laps. I mean, how was this going to shake out?
Well, that's part of, you know, this new deal that we've got with lack of horsepower. It tightens the competition up tremendously, and, you know, but we're all professionals, so we know how to drive these cars. But it was, you know, it was real tight, but I don't know what happened to me.
You're going to be back in the race, you think?
Yeah, we'll be out there. We're not going to be any kind of contention. We're just going to ride around there, I guess, kind of like we did here last year. You know, we hadn't had too good of luck here the last couple of years.
And get a few points, though. Back to you, Ken.
Well, last year he rode around to 22nd position, and it made a big difference in the point story at the end of the year when they went to Atlanta. They come by, and as they come to the stripe, they will have completed 14 laps, 35 miles, and we go back to green with Earnhardt out in front. Earnhardt leading as they come to the line.
And Ken, what this has done has put the cars in single file. They don't restart them in double file after a caution.
Ned, that'll last to the back straightaway, and all of a sudden this won't be single file anymore. There's a lot of cars that want to get to the front. A lot of people want to go with Earnhardt and Irvin down through that back straightaway there. You watch them, they'll start blending out.
Earnhardt in front, where he wants to stay for the end of this one, probably more than anything else in his career. He says, if I don't win this race, I'll start to be known as the Buffalo Bills of NASCAR. Nobody remembers who finishes second unless it's them or me in the Daytona 500. He's out in front right now, leading over Ernie Irvin, with Terry Labonte hanging right in there. Having a good ride.
You know, you see him bouncing in that seat. He still uses the old-timey van seat that has springs and all in it. Most people have gone to a real rigid seat that you don't have any spring whatsoever. Not Earnhardt. He says what works for him to win his 7 championships, he's going to stay with it.
And he puts the seat in himself.
Absolutely. Will not let anybody else touch it. Look at Wally Dallenbach making a move on the outside of John Andretti down the back straightaway.
Well, actually, John Andretti's making a move on him on the inside. Last time by the start-finish line, Dale Jarrett and Sterling Marlin drafted past Dallenbach, and Jarrett moved up to 5th, Marlin to 6th.
And keep an eye on that number 22 rambling up through. Ward Burton in that Pontiac looking very strong right now. Davis's car looking good.
They don't want to run side by side too long. They'll get in trouble doing that. They need to single file out and run that front group back down. You see, they're running single file. As they turn the corner, they'll make up a tremendous amount of distance on those groups running side by side.
Dale Jarrett made a run on Ken Schrader, got by him going into turn 1. Moves him up to 4th. So that was one car that I saw pull out and make a pass without any help. A little surprising, really.
Ernie Irvin got his break.
Boy,
from Dale Earnhardt. He almost got into his tail end that time.
He really did. Whoa.
It's close. Look at this battle for the lead. That's Ernie Irvin strutting his stuff. This looks like the first lap as they came down. But Kraft is on the inside. Those three working together. There's Dale Jarrett down there in that 88. Pressing right through with Ernie Irvin and Terry Labonte. Terry Labonte into second. Irvin drops back a couple of spots.
See Sterling.
Take a look just a little further back here. I'll tell you, see that green car on the outside? That's that number 71. You know who that is? That is the guy making his 29th start in this race, Dave Marcus. Right there. Riding with Jeremy Mayfield and as well with the number 99 of Jeff Burton, Ward Burton's brother. But Dave Marcus is having a great ride. He's got a new sponsor up there and running in 13th at the present time.
Doing a great job. That sponsorship, he says, will let him hire some more people and also do a little better work on their engines. Here's Terry Labonte going for the lead.
There is another dark horse that can win it all. This is his 18th start in the 500. I mean, he's right in there with Earnhardt. Earnhardt has sort of covered everyone else up with his misfortunes in this race. But Terry Labonte has been so close. 20 cars in that lead pack that you're watching right now. Terry Labonte starting this race. That was his 507th consecutive start. 7 more, and he'll break Richard Petty's record of 513 that Richard set back in that period from 71 to 89. That's the guy that's out in front right now, Texas Terry Labonte in number 5.
He's going to lead for a second, but there's a couple of cars just behind him that don't like running second and third, and that's Ernie Irvin in third place. In second place there, Dale Earnhardt. You watch for them to make a move here pretty quick.
Let's check in with David Hobbs.
Well, Ken, I'm down with Joe Nemechek. 16 laps in 2 years, Joe. This is not the way to go at the Daytona 500. What happened this time?
It's definitely not. Well, from my vantage point, somebody got in the wall coming off of turn 4, and next thing you know, everybody's trying to miss, check up, and then I think Steve Grissom went sliding through the infield, and it's a major chaos. I just feel sorry for Burger King and Delco, Remy, and Cintas, all these people to help me, and especially the team. We had a good qualifying run, and Daytona just hadn't been our place.
Oh, well, there's a very sad Joe Nemechek. They're putting the car together again, and he'll be back in there, but again, not many points, Ken.
No, not many points indeed. First out. Labonte leading. Earnhardt hanging on in second. Ernie Irvin third. Schrader fourth. Wally Dallenbach fifth.
Yeah, as I was saying, Ned, Wally Dallenbach is moving up.
Yeah, he is now. He got him a good draft there on Ernie Irvin. Moved right back up there. He and Ken Schrader, as a matter of fact, got together, and he moved back up to 5th place.
6th is Sterling Marlin. Then in 7th is Dale Jarrett. 8th is Ricky Rudd in the 10 car. And then comes John Andretti in that 37, and he's got his hands full in that struggle with Ward Burton up on the outside, and Michael Waltrip, who's taken over in the Wood Brothers, number 21. That's a good struggle. Andretti, for the moment, has the position by about, what, half a foot, buddy?
About like that. Right now, the inside car, John Andretti, needs some people working with him. He's just a little, you see him moving up. He knows he's lost the draft. You don't want to get down there by yourself because you go from first to last in about 2 seconds there.
21 laps have now been completed in the 38th running of the Daytona 500. 21 laps, 52.5 miles, with Terry Labonte now leading.
When a traffic jam was 2 cars in the same town, Mobil Oil was there. When Lindbergh crossed the Atlantic, Mobil was on board. Mobil was in the world's first minivans, in the first space shuttle, and in the tanks of Desert Storm. We've been helping engines last for a long time. Mobil, changing oil for over 125 years.
Rough roads, sharp curves. To keep a firm grip on roads like this depends upon your shock absorbers. Look, with a worn-out shock absorber, the wheel leaves the road. But with a new Monroe Sensitrack shock absorber, your tire holds the road. With Monroe Sensitrack, even the most demanding road feels safer. Monroe Sensitrack, making the road a safer place. Have your shocks checked every 12,000 miles just to be safe.
In their moment, for their time. Olympic athletes are the most photographed people on Earth. And for 100 years, more of those pictures have been captured on Kodak film than any other. Kodak. What film is in your camera?
The new 4.6-liter V8 Mustang GT and the new limited edition 305 horsepower V8 Mustang Cobra. Hello. Not since Mr. Ed has a horse spoken so clearly.
Whoa, Wilbur! Relive the great American race in this CBS Sports home video. Daytona Drama Danger Dedication. To order by credit card, call now 1-800-999-VIDEO. Daytona, drama, danger, dedication, only $19.98, plus $3 shipping and handling.
11 cars in the lead draft as you watch number 88, Dale Jarrett, pressing on the inside, moving himself to 5th as he gets under Wally Dallenbach and still continues to climb that number 88 back into this race. The 93 winner. You've got 11 cars running less than a half second apart.
Here's Sterling Marlin, Dallenbach running side by side there for the 6th position. And it doesn't take long. Those front 5 cars will pull away quickly if they continue to run side by side. But up front, we've got some cars running side by side, too.
Yes, Ernie Irvin's on the inside there. Terry Labonte's going with him. Oh, he's going to make it 3 wide going in the corner there.
And bringing Schrader. Schrader dives to the inside with his teammate from Hendrick Racing. And Labonte goes back up into the lead. Earnhardt back to 2nd. Schrader on the inside on the comeback trail from a miserable 1995. Last race of the year went to Atlanta and it blew up. He said, there, that's good. That finishes this year. We'll start afresh in 96. Right now, oh, here comes down to the inside Dale Jarrett in number 88. Nice move by Jarrett in the 2nd spot. The Ford Quality Care, number 88, down on the bottom. That's the picture from Earnhardt's car. Schrader inches that number 25 up. They almost touch at 190 miles an hour. Live on CBS, the 38th running of the Daytona 500. Jarrett going for the lead.
He, like everybody else, wants to get 5 bonus points if he possibly can.
Ford on the inside, Chevy on the outside. And down to the line they come. It looks like it's going to be Jarrett picking up those points. But Schrader makes a move. Ooh, almost touched on the number 3.
Here comes Earnhardt back on the outside, trying to get back up to the lead. Oh, we have contact there. Ernie Irvin into the wall.
Ernie Irvin getting slack coming out of the tri-oval and lifting. A lot of smoke pouring out of that car. He's still up on the high side.
And I think there's a lot of damage to that car, Ken, unfortunately.
Caution not out as yet. He stays way up on the track.
Caution is coming out.
Caution now out. Racing back to the line early in the race. You can see them come across in fairly gentlemanly manner here. Getting that last 100 miles, and you'll see a skirmish out of that turn 4 under a caution flag. To the line, it will be Dale Jarrett leading with Terry Labonte in 2nd, Sterling Marlin 3rd, Schrader 4th, and Michael Waltrip comes up into 5th spot with Wally Dallenbach 6 across the line, Ricky Rudd, Ward Burton back there in 8th.
Well, you can see that right front on the Ernie Irvin car. Good bit of damage there. The right front tire is flat, but there's also sheet metal damage. But he should be able to get it fixed and get back out there. How much it has taken away from his ability to run with those front runners, don't know.
Now watch up on the side of your screen there up against the wall. He gets tagged. It looked like maybe Dallenbach was in there underneath him. But they were 3 and 4 wide there. Just ran out of room coming off that tri-oval. Another look. Maybe we'll catch it here.
Yeah, Dallenbach gets into the left rear corner and he goes up into the wall pretty hard there. There's a lot of contact there on the right front corner of Ernie Irvin's car.
They say that the Earnhardt car may have a tire going down. Take a look at that one in a moment as we follow Ernie Irvin in here with the Robert Yates Texaco Haviland car.
Now we've gone about what they're coming around to complete 29 laps. Will they pit? They're about halfway, a little more than halfway through what would be a pit stop as far as fuel is concerned.
72.5 miles.
I expect we'll see them come in.
Already in is Irvin. You see him here bringing the car to a halt. That crew right there to look it over. Larry McReynolds, blonde-haired guy, and it just now crouching down.
Here come the leaders.
Jarrett, Labonte, Marlin, Schrader, Waltrip, Dallenbach, Rudd, Ward Burton leading the entire field down on the pit road. Going to be busy down there for a moment. Speed limit on pit road today?
65. Feels like they're crawling after running 190 miles an hour out on the racetrack.
Earnhardt in. look under caution here as they continue with Dale Jarrett's car on the top of your screen. Labonte, Sterling Marlin, all out under caution. See the activity along pit road as they try to get out here. And track position will be critical in this 500. We'll take a quick commercial break and then be back with more of the 38th running Daytona 500.
This is incredible.
Incredible.
What is it?
The double supreme cheeseburger. It's new. Brand new.
Same kind of stuff as the Big Mac.
Yeah, but I like this better.
Oh, that's because Burger King plain broils them.
It's got a lot more beef. A lot more beef.
Gonna take all lunch hour to finish one.
The Burger King Double Supreme Cheeseburger. Less bread and 75% more beef than the Big Mac. And it's flame broiled, never fried. With fries and a drink, just $2.99.
Well, back to work. What's the rush?
Yeah. You don't think we're gonna be that busy, do you?
Where does Napa keep over 200,000 different parts? Right up here. Now remember, your belt tension on this is critical. What kind of car is it? Well, I'll sell you all the struts you want, but I wouldn't recommend putting them in without the right tools. I'm sure we have it. Okay, is it a 77 or a 78? Because they changed the carburetor in 78. Actually, that's not a stupid question at all. I know what it used to be. You don't stay at Napa long handing out the wrong answers, and I'm not planning on going anywhere.
America running.
When a traffic jam was two cars in the same town, Mobil Oil was there. When Lindbergh crossed the Atlantic, Mobil was on board. Mobil was in the world's first minivans, in the first space shuttle, and in the tanks of Desert Storm. We've been helping engines last for a long time. Mobil, changing oil for over 125 years.
Let's get real here. Brakes stop your wheels, but tires stop your car. That's why Goodyear's newest AquaTread, the all-season AquaTread 2, has a deeper, wider aqua channel than the original AquaTread to sweep more water away for outstanding wet traction. And AquaTread 2 has high-tensile steel belts for puncture resistance. Think about it. Brakes stop your wheels, but tires stop your car. Get a set of AquaTreads. Only from Goodyear.
This race summary is sponsored by Goodyear. #1 in tires.
Back at Daytona, let's take a look at the race summary after 75 miles. 5 different leaders, lead changes. We've had 8 of them thus far. 150-mile-an-hour average, and a couple of cautions have pulled things back. 6 laps under caution thus far. Cars officially out of the race. Although Nemechek's car, for sure, they're going to try to get it back out here, but it's battered and bruised. Take a look at what happened just a moment ago here.
Okay, Ken, as they came through the tri-oval here at Daytona, you see Earnhardt in the black car right there. It appears that he might have backed off just a little bit, whether it was because of the heavy traffic. Someone said he thought he might have had a tire going down, and when he did, Irvin might have had to check up right there. And as we move it forward, we will see that Wally Dallenbach will get into Irvin. Irvin had nowhere to go except right into the wall once he got hit.
For more on this story, here's Dick Berggren.
Well, Ned, you're absolutely right. There was something wrong with Earnhardt's car, and the thing that was wrong, the ignition simply quit on him. It just dropped out. So Ernie Irvin, who's now trying to get his car back behind pit wall, it's so damaged they can't even roll it. Ernie Irvin just ran into him. So they switched the ignition boxes. Now, there's only 2 of those on the race car. Earnhardt's down to his last one. Mike Joy?
Down to Mark Martin's pitch. Butch Hilton, the right rear tire changer, got upended on that stop, but he is okay. Steve Meal takes very careful, copious notes of every pit stop and every set of tires. You've taken the temperatures of the tires that came off Mark's car. What do they tell you?
I didn't.
Tire temps, what do they tell you?
Oh, they look good. We're tight, just like Mark said, and it's always just what Mark says. The buildups aren't terrible, so we just probably had a little bit too much wedge in the car. We took some wedge out on that stop. It's real frustrating. You know, there's 2 lines of really fast cars. We're going to have to show a lot of presence on pit road. We're going to have to show a lot of patience on the racetrack. Maybe we'll get something worked out. Right now, there's just a bunch of fast race cars.
Steve Meal. Ken Squire?
31 laps. Completed 32 when they come by to take green. So as they come back to race conditions, 80 of the 500 miles will be complete here at Daytona today. And Robert Presley, after these pit stops, finds himself the recipient of 5 points. As you take a look at the running order, Jeremy Mayfield pulls himself into second position, and you have Michael Waltrip in third, Sterling Marlin in fourth, and Bobby Hamilton in the Richard Petty car now up into fifth. Ken Schrader will be sixth, and guy who refers to himself as the other Dale Jarrett, who pulled himself up to the lead a little bit back here. Dale Jarrett is right there in sixth spot as we watch Ernie Urban's car being worked on.
Ken, I think some of the cars, Robert Presley, who is up front, I think he might have only changed 2 tires, the right side tires. Most of them took on 4 tires, but I think some of those that are up there that were pretty far back did just take on 2 tires, and they did it to get track position.
You see there, they're using the jack to turn that car. The steering's bent up so bad that they can't drive it with a steering wheel. They're having to lead him around through the pits with the jack on the right front.
Green coming back with Robert Presley in that green and white, number 33. Jackson Racing bringing the field down, and 28-year-old Jeremy Mayfield right there in second spot from the Cale Yarborough team. Tony Purr did a great job of putting together a year-old car, that number 98 in second spot.
And how about that 33 car with Robert Presley out front? Andy Petrie is the crew chief on that car this year. He was the crew chief for Dale Earnhardt for the last 3 years. They won 2 championships while Andy was there, but he went over to the Leo Jackson team. Robert Presley in his second year as a driver in Winston Cup Racing, up front here right now.
Andy to get a little piece of that team as well. Look at Michael Waltrip making his move on the outside for the Wood brothers, and Sterling Marlin coming with him.
Yeah, he figures maybe that Michael might be faster right now, and so he's going to follow and push him right through there. And boy, you can do so much in the draft here. Oh boy, he just bipped down to the inside, and buddy, that's an indication if he only took on 2 tires, might have a tough time keeping it down low on the racetrack.
Well, you can see that the 21 of Michael Waltrip's handling very well. He was high on the racetrack, turned down and went under Robert Presley, but I don't know that I would have wanted to leave Marlin that quick. I would have probably took him with me, but it's working right now. Michael Waltrip is going into the lead into turn 1. You see Presley fighting back on the outside.
And you see another Ford backed right up behind the 21. The 300th start for Michael Waltrip, still scratching for that first win.
Boy, look him take off into turn 3 there, buddy.
Wally Dallenbach's all the way down on the apron. He needs to get back up on that racetrack before he gets to the corner. You saw Ward Burton going in there on the flat.
Ward Burton right on the bottom in the 22 gets himself up. Here's 98, Jeremy Mayfield making that run. Take a look at Jeremy Mayfield's telemetry out here in the number 98 as he comes by and spurs himself up for second place.
Wow, 7,300 with the restrictor plate. That's pretty strong, Ned. That draft is really working. You see 193 there on the straightaway.
Well, he got up to 198 just before he went into that turn, and then he got into the turn, it backed down a little bit. And you can see it picking up as he goes down the backstretch as they get in that draft. 196, 97 we saw there one time.
Well, Cale Yarborough has put all of his eggs in this Mayfield basket, and it looks like he's made a great choice. And look, back to second spot from 6 comes car number 88.
It just don't hardly get any better than this, Ken. Look, 2 by 2 as they head down into turn 1. That's at 198 miles an hour. They turn off. They scrub off a little speed, as Ned said, in the corner. But look at Texas Terry come up there in second place in the number 5 car. John Andretti in third.
And here comes Schrader back another time. Jeremy Mayfield falling back 4 spots after he left the Tri-Oval and headed for turn 1. Talk about driver racing. Mayfield getting hung out there, and John Andretti for the moment trying to win this one for Tim Brewer, who as a crew chief has never won this race. Here's Dick Berggren.
Well, Ernie Irvin is out of the car. He's taking a walk around, taking a look at the damage. How bad is this thing?
Well, it's not good enough to be able to out there racing wide open. So they're going to go ahead and try to fix it. Just we'll get back out there and try to get her some points.
And he won his 125-mile qualifier, but today it's in the junkyard. Mike Joy?
Dick, that first set of tires off Dale Earnhardt's car showed that the right rear was worn half again as much as the left rear. Earnhardt's car was really loose in that first run. Ken?
May have been loose, but let's see what's going to happen now as he gets to this point where we're up toward 90 miles. He can clamber back into this thing.
Tell you who's really been losing on this right here was Sterling Marlin. He chose to go on the outside up there behind Robert Presley. Hadn't been able to get out from up there. He's still in that line up on the outside, and others just going by him down on the inside.
That number 3 car of Earnhardt fought its way back to 9th. Now he's trying to close in on these leaders. As you see, Andretti, Labonte, Dale Jarrett leading that group, Kenny Schrader, Wally Dolan back there, and Ward Burton in that 22. Earnhardt from 15th back to 7th and trying to close in on this flock of cars. Here's the number 5, back again for the lead, Terry Labonte.
And the train will go by. He went by on the inside, and Dale Jarrett just caught there.
You can see what the draft means to any race car here. When you have 4 or 5 cars lined up in a line like that, and you get out of the draft, boy, you're at the mercy of the court. You see Dale Jarrett went from the lead to 6th in just 1 straightaway.
Let's watch and listen to Terry Labonte as he cranks one out here. For error in that kind of racing. Here's Earnhardt on the inside of Ward Burton in the 22, flipping off another one. For medicine they gave car number 3. It sure did the trick.
There's Wally Dullenberg. He's worked his way all the way up to 3rd there in the Bud Moore Ford. That thing is not even sponsored after they leave Daytona, so it's very important that he has a great run today.
John Andretti falls back into 4th. As they continue to seesaw, now 25 cars in the lead draft, and here comes Earnhardt. 3 wide. Earnhardt on the bottom in that 3 wide, going into the corner, and there you see the interval he needs to make up. And if he makes it up, he'll bring that whole group with him.
Well, anybody back here watching this race today, if you want to know what the driver sees, that's a picture of what you see. That's as close to being in the driver's seat, that last angle that we had in the camera there, as you can get.
Front 4 out in front, but the posse's about to catch them. And Earnhardt leads that group. Mike Joy.
Gary Dehart twice today has seen his car get out front. Gary, do you want him out front, or as long as he's in that lead draft, does it much matter where he is?
It seems to want to lead a whole lot better than it wants to follow, so right now we're just telling him to stay out front as much as he can. And the car's really pretty good compared to everybody else's notes. You know, we've been scanning them, and it's some cars out there a little loose. We just got a little skatey a while ago and went down another pound of air pressure. We're pretty good right now. We'll just wait and see how the day goes, you know.
Say so. Ken Squire.
40 laps, 100 miles have been put in the record book today. Terry Labonte, for the moment, likes to ride that car out in front, feels good out there, and he looks good out there. As after 17 tries in his 18th effort here, he's leading the 500. But look at the pressure being applied by his own teammate, Ken Schrader, and Dollenbach, and Andretti, and Earnhardt, and Rudd. It's some race, this great American race, this February here at Daytona.
Just exactly what we expected, Ken.
Oh, look at Earnhardt fade to the outside. He's ridden that bottom rail. Now he's going to try the stair steps.
Well, he's just trying anything right now. He went to the inside of Andretti and couldn't make the pass. Now Andretti's trying to come back on the inside, but Earnhardt finally gets by John Andretti.
Earnhardt going for Wally Dollenbach, the Colorado driver. Still Labonte leading. Still Schrader in second. Chevy's hitched up and flying. The Ford of Dollenbach lies there in third. Then the Chevrolet of Earnhardt, and then the Ford of John Andretti. Followed by the Ford of Ricky Rudd. That's a Ford for Mike Waltrip. And then the Pontiac, 8th, Ward Burton, number 22.
They're running laps close to what they qualified at here.
Here comes John Andretti back on the outside of Earnhardt. They've done this musical chair thing about 4 or 5 times in the last 5 laps. And with him is Ricky Rudd. You see Ward Burton tucking in behind Earnhardt, trying to get a run up through there.
Now, for the novice fans out there, when we talk about drafting, when one car runs up behind another, it'll pick the speed of both of them up. And you need 2 cars running together. They can run faster than one car can run by itself. The closer a car runs to another one, the more effective the drafting is.
Nose to tail, but side by side won't get it done unless you got a lot of folks to help you. CBS Sports coverage of the Daytona 500 will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
When a traffic jam was 2 cars in the same town, Mobil Oil was there. When Lindbergh crossed the Atlantic, Mobil was on board. Mobil was in the world's first minivans, in the first space shuttle, and in the tanks of Desert Storm. We've been helping engines last for a long time. Mobil, changing oil for over 125 years.
This is CBS.
Now it's your time. It's your time. When you get on your brand man, ride, ride, ride.
Get your Grand Am GT now, just $225 a month with $225 down. See your local Florida Pontiac dealer.
When life is sweet, you want to savor every moment. And at Publix, we want to help you do just that. Tender tasting meats cut to your liking. Seafood as fresh as an ocean breeze. Now, isn't that food for thought?
Surviving a Robbery, Monday on 10 News at 6.
CBS Sports presentation of the Daytona 500 is sponsored by the all-new Ford F-150, strength after strength after strength. Budweiser, official sponsor of the 1996 U.S. Olympic team. This bug's for you. And by AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts.
Providing today's pictures from above, the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes. Goodyear Blimps are now in their 4th decade of live sports coverage. Back at Daytona, working lap number 47 at the present time as Terry Labonte stays in first. See John Andretti holding right on, and you're riding with Sterling Marlin a little further back in the field. Sterling is now in 10th position. Chance at history today. 73 and 74. Richard Petty won this race back-to-back. 83 and 84. Cale was successful at that, but they couldn't pull off that third. Will Sterling do it today? Stay with us. There you see the Pontiac, number 22, hanging right in there and looking very strong in the early going of this race. Ward Burton just checked on his latest position. He's back in 15th. Just behind him is Ricky Craven in 16th. Number 41, Richard Presley, has taken over for crew chief role in that car.
I'm not sure, but I thought I saw a little smoke coming out of Burton's car as he was going down the front straightaway there. I'm not sure exactly. It might be just a little bit of fender rub or what, but I did notice a little smoke as he come off the tri-oval.
On the 22?
Yes.
Take a look at Ward Burton again here in a moment to see what the story is on the Bill Davis car. Ward Burton, we may have an answer right here for you, buddy. Good point you made, and they're checking some tape. We may be able to show you why you saw a little smoke. As you watch them come back, here's John Andretti coming in for second spot, and Ricky Rudd coming up on the inside. Take a look at this right here. This may be your smoke.
Oh, he hit the wall pretty hard coming off 4. That's him right there in front of the green car that you see coming down the straightaway. That wasn't just casual contact. That was a pretty good hit.
And you see him slowing down now, Ned.
Yes, he has to be very concerned. Is there a fender rubbing against the tire? It doesn't take long for them to cut him down if that is the case.
Perhaps Mike can tell us more.
Team manager Clyde Booth, what happened to Ward?
Well, all of a sudden, after that last stop, we just got real tight, and as a result of that, he was trying to run high, get up and hit the wall. We've knocked the front fender into the tires. We've got to come down pit road now and put right sides on and take the fender off the tire.
Under the green, it'll be a costly stop, Kevin.
set him down at least a lap. There's one of Pontiac's greatest hopes in this race, young Ward Burton. Still, it's Terry Labonte, John Andretti, and Schrader, 1, 2, 3.
I'm not going to look at any more cars because I seen something in the back of Schrader's car then as he went through the corner. I'm not exactly sure what it was. He may be running a little warm. It is a nice day out, but I did see a little bit of liquid out of the 25 car as he started in turn 1.
Baker Witchcraft as we take a look at car number 22 on pit road. Continue to follow the race on the top of your screen. There you see the top 3 and then the interval of about, 12, 15 car lengths. Back to a real scramble that's going on for 5th position. Ricky Rudd, who was replaced on the Rick Hendrick stable by Terry Labonte on the tail end of that draft, and Terry Labonte trying to hold on to that lead. Ricky Rudd with his own team these days.
Ned, you see Dale Earnhardt on the outside of Sterling Marlin there. He is not making a charge back to the front like I thought he would after they found the ignition not working properly, but he's running a very patient race. He may have a lot more car than we're seeing right at the moment.
I expect he needs an adjustment on that car, buddy. I don't think that it's handling quite the way that he would like for it to right now. Just wants to hang on there until they make another pit stop and then try to move to the front.
50 laps, 125 miles have been docketed. There you see the top 4 and that interval back to the 5th position. And in that spot is Michael Waltrip, having a good run with the Wood Brothers. That's his first time out in Wood Brothers number 21. They've won this Daytona 500, the Wood Brothers, that is, on 4 occasions. Cale Yarborough's great run, or Tiny Lund winning this race for them. And, of course, 76, who'll ever forget? Maroon, white, and gold, just chugging over the finish line after tagging with Richard Petty and David Pearson, winning his only 500.
Those 4 cars trying to pull away, running single file, putting a little distance between them and the 5th place car of Michael Waltrip.
Michael Waltrip's showing a lot of muscle there. He looks like he's running that front group back down, but somebody's crept into the second pack of cars there. Mark Martin is moving up. He has a real good downforce car. What we mean by that is the car gets a lot of downforce, a lot of pull down towards the racetrack in the corner. It gives it really good grip in long runs.
Wally Dallenbach has fallen back into 28th position now with car 15. Slipping back is car number 28, and here's Dick Berggren.
Earnhardt never having won the Daytona 500, but there are a lot of other guys who haven't won the Daytona 500, like John Andretti, who is running in 2nd spot right now, and his crew chief, Tim Brewer, who has started over 600 races in his career, won 53 of them, never at Daytona. How about it, Tim? Is this your best shot at this thing?
You know, we've had some pretty good opportunities over the years with Bill Elliott, Cale Yarborough, but, you know, we've always come up like 2nd place. But, you know, that's one of those deals to where...
Trouble on the racetrack.
We've got trouble on the racetrack, and it may be Derek Coates, number 12, throwing out a lot of smoke coming down through the tri-oval area. He, too, is tagged hard. Kenny Schrader waving the rest of the field off if there's been trouble ahead. Bobby Allison Racing. Guy that won this race in 1990, Derek Coate, brings the car to rest after trouble up here in turn 4. It's become Calamity Corner again today, turn 4 here at Daytona.
Man, a lot of damage on that right front corner, the right rear. You can see the front fenders peel back all the way, and it's hanging back past the door.
Replay from behind. Let's see if we can catch what happened here.
You know, Ned, it looked like the car might have been pushing a little bit, and he tried to keep his foot in it coming off the corner, and maybe just got into the wall.
I think we have another angle here. Maybe that's already in the wall. I wonder if something happened in a second or two before that as he was coming just off the corner.
Well, I think we've already heard that Ward Burton had picked up a push in his car. I think several others had picked up pushes as well. The car got tighter on them, and the front end wanted to go out towards the wall as it came off of the turns. He could have even had a tire to go down that caused him to do that.
Derek Cope steps away from car number 12 and the hopes of a second Daytona 500 win in 1996.
These days, your
working harder than ever. You need a truck that does, too.
Don't move.
Introducing the all-new 1997 Ford F-150. With even more horsepower and torque, and all the legendary strength of an F-Series.
Better get to the Grand Canyon before we do.
The all-new Ford F-150.
This year's Olympics are in Atlanta, but the games will be everywhere. The Bud World Party. A great time to share a Bud with friends, no matter where you are. Budweiser, proud sponsor of the 96 Summer Games.
What do you get when you cross a high-quality conventional motor oil with an advanced formula synthetic? A revolutionary oil that protects better than regular oils, yet costs less than full synthetics. Durablend from Valvoline. Valvoline's the #1 choice of top mechanics.
A lot of folks in Johnson City, Tennessee will tell you when you need a part for your car, go to AutoZone. The parts are top quality, the prices are low, and the people are helpful, like Gary Jennings. You see, when it comes to auto parts, folks will tell you Gary really knows his stuff. Oh, sure, they know there are other parts stores in town, but when it comes to getting the right part, the right price, and good advice from folks like Gary, there's just no place better than AutoZone.
If more top mechanics use one motor oil over any other brand in their own cars and trucks, maybe it's time you changed your oil. Valvoline, the #1 choice of America's top mechanics.
Relive the great American race in this CBS Sports home video. Daytona, drama, danger, dedication. To order by credit card, call now 1-800-999-VIDEO. Daytona, drama, danger, dedication. Only $19.98 plus $3 shipping and handling. Coming up next, it's NCAA basketball on CBS. The Big Ten's leading scorer, Brian Evan, leads the Indiana Hoosiers against the Michigan Wolverines. Big Ten rivals meet. Indiana versus Michigan next on CBS Sports. Number 12 being taken back to the garage, and it's a day over for Derek Cope. Here's Dick Berggren.
Derek, what happened? Well, we've been fighting push, real bad air push in the car, and I think a lot of people are suffering the same problem. And you got to start trying to lift a little bit coming off the corners, and the car just wouldn't turn at all. I mean, you just turned the wheel all the way left, and it wouldn't turn, got in the wall.
What's happening out there that we've got so much problem? Any idea?
I don't know. It's just something aerodynamically, I think. Right now, we're just suffering. We've had it before, but, you know, just nothing you could do. The car just wants to take off and push, and you can't get the car to turn. You got to get out of the gas, and when people get up underneath you, it causes a lot of problems.
Ken Squire?
Thank you for that report on Derek Cope. Sad moment for that Bobby Allison team. Hope to have the... Let's take a look at the CBS race schedule. There's Grissom's number 29 getting ready to come back out. Coming up, June the 23rd, the Michigan 400. What a great race that always is. And then Ned, July 28th, the Die Hard 500. Look forward to that one at Talladega, Alabama.
That's always a great race.
And Busch Grand National Racing is coming to CBS this year. We're going to go to Watkins Glen, New York on the road course. What a great race they had up there last year, and we enjoyed that. Then Talladega, that's brand new on the schedule, at 500K, 340-mile race. And the season finale, the Jiffy Lube Miami 300 on Sunday, November the 3rd. Oh yeah, and trucks, too.
Oh, yeah.
Trucks, too, those Craftsman trucks. Colorado, Milwaukee, Louisville, and their season finale on November 3rd in Vegas.
Those are exciting events to watch.
I'm going to tell anybody that's watching right now, never been to a super truck race, they need to see one. I guarantee you, they don't just ride around. That's great racing.
Oh, this guy's been to several truck races. Yes, indeed. Yep. Yep. I'm telling you, 3's going to win. I think that's what he was saying. All right, now, lap summary here. 56 laps. Leaders, 9 different leaders. Lead changes, 14. Average speed down to 145 miles an hour. Let's go to Mike Joy.
Ken, down at the west end of pit road, everything was pretty routine. Bill Elliott, Ricky Rudd, Jeremy Mayfield, The Sterling Marlin car, Kenny Schrader, all got 4 tires, and all the handling adjustments are not being made with the wedge wrench. Just a pound or a half a pound difference in air pressure, mainly in the rear tires. One driver who really needed this caution, Wally Dallenbach. That's 2 pieces of good news for Bud Moore today. He had a tire going down, had to come in anyway. Also, Bud's one race sponsor signed up this morning for the whole season. David Hobbs?
Well, it would appear that the reason that Dale Jarrett dropped so far back was his car was getting really loose. In other words, oversteering badly here on the speedway, and he wasn't sure whether he had a tire going down or the right fender was rubbing on the tire. When he came in, the right fender was rubbing on the tire. They've taped it up, straightened it out, put 4 new ones on, so he's feeling better now.
Well, that was great news to hear that Bud Moore has a sponsor buddy for the full year, because he's been around this sport as long as anyone, and it was certainly going to be sad to see him miss any races.
That's like saying the Daytona 500 wouldn't be NASCAR. I mean, Bud Moore's been around. I mean, he is tradition. I've drove his cars, and they're great race cars.
Won in those cars. Talladega, didn't you? Didn't you pull one out of Talladega?
3 in a row.
3 in a row?
Yeah.
Seems like it was so long ago.
Oh, thanks.
58 laps, 145 miles down when they come by to take green this time. 16 lead changes. Boy, this time last year there have been 3 lead changes in the race. They're getting with the program. Now you see Mr. Relaxed out here, Mr. Cool. Mr. Earnhardt getting ready to see what he can do about this, running in 8th position.
Terry Labonte came out ahead, out of the pits again.
Tell you what was interesting to me on Friday, Earnhardt pulled the curtain down. He stopped talking to everybody. He simply focused on this race. He wouldn't talk to the press. You know, NASCAR makes this big thing about how available they are. And the last time he pulled that curtain down was when Neil was killed, right here on the same spot he's driving right now on the track. He just pulled the curtain down, went out and practiced as much as he could, stayed away from everyone. You know how badly he wants to win this race.
And so do about 40 others out there, and we're getting ready to go at it again. Green flag.
Put up 59, get us to 147.5 miles as they came on through. On the restart, Labonte, Schrader, Michael Waltrip, Blake Speed up there in the front 4. John Andretti 5th, Sterling Marlin 6th, Robert Presley 7th. That's Dale Earnhardt for 8th, Ricky Rudd, Bill Elliott rounding out the top 10, and just behind them, Mark Martin 11th, and Jeff Burton's number 99 is in 12th position.
Well, if we've ever had a chance to see what's going to happen as far as the team effect here, that's Terry Labonte running for Hendricks, and the 25 car just behind him there, that's Ken Schrader. They seem to be working together pretty well right at the moment. You don't see any passing for the lead. And I guarantee you, if they wasn't teammates, they'd be fighting it out right now.
As we see these cars come down the front straightaway, Joe Nemechek, who was involved in an early wreck, has gone back out on the racetrack, minus a lot of sheet metal, but he's going back out to make some laps. There he is, down on the inside. You can see a lot of the front end of that race car is gone, at least as far as the sheet metal is concerned. He won't be able to run competitively, but he wants to run as many laps as he can.
Joe Nemechek pulling back out with panels missing, the hood missing on that car. Up in front, number 9. It's good to see Harry Melling's colors back up here in the front of this race. Remember, in 1985, Blake Speed had himself a 2nd in this race, now driving for Harry Melling. As you look at Nemechek for 2nd, back on the track. 8, 9 cars in that lead group. Terry Labonte in 1st, Schrader in 2nd, Michael Waltrip right there. Speed hanging on to 4th, and Andretti hanging on to him. Robert Presley back in the group again, trying to move under Sterling Marlin.
Seems to me when somebody gets under Sterling today, his car tends to run up the racetrack. That tells me the chassis is pretty tight on that car, but look how it goes down the straightaway. He runs right back on the back of John Andretti down the back straightaway. Now as they start in the corner, he breathes the car a little bit, pulls it right on the white line. Watch him close up now.
He certainly has plenty of horsepower under the hood compared to others. That engine builder, Rod Pittman, is always right up there among the best of them.
Riding with Sterling Marlin in 6th position here through the tri-oval, 17-degree banking.
You can see John Andretti saying, okay, Sterling, I'm going to go to the bottom there with a hand signal. Now they're trying to make the pass on the bottom side. Lake speed's caught on the outside. You see how fast you can go by when you're in the draft.
That pulls Marlin up into 5th. Let's check in with the Jarrett in the Quality Care Ford credit card car.
He's following Dave Marcus. They are pretty far back behind that lead draft.
14th?
Yeah, there are 12 cars in the lead draft, and then they're back 300 or 400 yards.
And here's DW. Waltrip still out here trying. He's had nothing but bad luck with engines. He's running 32nd at the present time. They finally borrowed a motor from Morgan McClure. Oh, how do you like that chrome helmet? Huh? Pretty shiny.
He's even got silver shoes, Ken.
We're showing 32 cars in the lead lap.
I just had a clock on Dave Marcus. Now, the elapsed time around the track when Dale Earnhardt qualified for the pole was 49 seconds, 49 and 49 hundredths of a second. Dave Marcus just ran a 49.37 the last time around with Dale Jarrett right on his bumper. They're picking up on that lead group.
Earnhardt pulling it on Sterling Marlin.
See Sterling's car running a nice straight line through the corner now. As he starts off, that's where a lot of the cars were pushing up off the corner. His car seems to turn quite well there. Here's Kenny Schrader getting passed by Sterling Marlin as we head in turn 1, and Earnhardt's trying to go with him.
So this is up front. You now get yourself Terry Labonte up into that lead. Schrader falling back for the moment. John Andretti on the hunt.
Dave Marcus ran even faster the last time around. He is pulling some cars around here at an absolute speed that we didn't think that they'd be able to go. They're running in single file, and while those cars are racing up there, that's helping Dave Marcus, but he is coming on.
Marlin to Earnhardt, Earnhardt to Marlin. That's the view. Labonte still in front, John Andretti in second, and this duo right here are 3rd and 4th. 65 laps complete, 162.5 miles. Just joining us, 15 lead changes among 9 drivers thus far in the race, 3 caution periods, and some great racing. Things settled down for the moment and stabilized. Over the last several laps, it's been Terry Labonte leading the way with John Andretti right there, and then you see the rest of them getting into it.
Ken, let me correct myself. I said a moment ago 49 seconds. Earnhardt, it was 47.49 that he won the pole with, and didn't want to mislead anybody. As we see that racing continue up front, there's Mark Martin down on the inside.
Michael Waltrip in the 21 starting to pull away from him. The 33, the green car on the outside, Robert Presley, and back once again to this duo. 3rd and 4th, right there on your screen, wide open around the high banks of Daytona.
Let's get real here. Brakes stop your wheels, but tires stop your car. That's why Goodyear's newest AquaTread, the all-season AquaTread 2, has a deeper, wider aqua channel than the original AquaTread to sweep more water away for outstanding wet traction. And AquaTread 2 has high-tensile steel belt for puncture resistance. Think about it. Brakes stop your wheels, but tires stop your car. Get a set of AquaTreads. Only from Goodyear.
Before a man goes to war, he prepares both his body and his mind. He thinks of the past, but he remembers the future, and that he must face his fears if he is to live his dreams.
In racing, there's no margin for error. The crew follows the same procedures every time the car pulls into the pits.
It's the same way at Jiffy Lube. We follow the same strict procedures more than 50,000 times a day. It's your assurance that when you bring your car to Jiffy Lube, the job will be done right. And Jiffy Lube offers Pennzoil. Jiffy Lube, the world's most experienced oil changers. That's why if it doesn't say Jiffy Lube, it just isn't Jiffy Lube.
Call him Lucky Louie.
I scratched it off and I won $5,000.
Yeah, but is he hooked?
What's that scratching sound?
No, this is making no.
The Louie Show, Wednesday.
We're back with you at Daytona. Along with Ned Jarrett and Buddy Baker, I'm Ken Squire, topside, following the 38th Annual 500. Race cam giving you these pictures from Mark Martin's view, and down to the bottom, there you see Dale Jarrett making his move. This is a battle back in 9th spot, and Jarrett is the man on the move, as well as Mark Martin.
Mark, he just passed Mark a lap or two ago, and Mark was trying to hook up with him as he came up through there. Jarrett and Marcus had caught this group, and then Jarrett went on around Marcus and decided to try to head on to the front.
This is for 9th position. That's Lake Speed just in front of Mark Martin, trying to take 9th away on the inside. Number 88, the 93 champion, Dale Jarrett. Quality Care Ford credit car clambering back through the field another time.
See that telemetry there, buddy? They're getting up to, what, 67 or so hundred RPMs, 190 miles an hour?
We're going down the back straightaway, 6,800 down the back straightaway.
Saw it hit 194 there at one point.
Yeah, he had to get on it, and he had to get on it early. He had to check up on Lake Speed.
Well, Mark's running a little higher line right now, but he seems to be running just as fast as the guys that run right down in the preferred line around the bottom of the racetrack, so he's running well.
And back with the leaders, Earnhardt beginning to thump the drum. Back up there in the lead. Here he comes. Around Sterling Marlin, going looking for the Ford of John Andretti. The Cranifus Haas, number 37, there in second spot. And Earnhardt, who can drive it inside, outside, any way you want it on this racetrack, takes it to the outside. Here comes Marlin back with him.
Yeah, he's beginning to flex his muscles a little bit. We talked about him there a little bit ago. He's been biding his time, trying to move around the 7-time champion.
See, Sterling's getting a little bit better grip getting into the corner than Earnhardt. He pulled him almost a full car lap through that corner as they start down the front straightaway.
Love to play racer sometimes. You know.
Michael Waltrip gets up into Earnhardt just a little bit. Now that is just where the car gets in the draft. There's a lot of wind that goes down the side of these race cars that kind of pulled him over into Earnhardt just momentarily. That don't even get your attention hardly. I said hardly.
Gave him a little more room that time.
You know, Ricky Rudd's got to be very pleased. The new crew chief this year, he's right up in the front. He's been up in the front all day today. Richard Froome has to have a big smile on his face because it's his first race with Ricky Rudd, and they're doing a great job.
Here comes Schrader up on the outside, and if he and Earnhardt get together, and look at Bill Elliott.
He's getting racy
into this. He's getting racy for sure. All for the lead. In the great American race, the Daytona 500. If you're just joining us, it has been a rip snorter from lap 1. They've been running like this from the outset, but Terry Labonte has been the man to watch. Stays out in front, the 84 Winston Cup champion, trying to win his first 500. It's his 18th try. Right now, he looks invincible, but so have 5 other drivers so far that have led this thing. Here's Dick Berggren.
To follow through on our conversation with Tim Brewer, crew chief for John Andretti, Brewer has been timing cars all day, and he said there have been several occasions when his car has been the fastest of the bunch. And I'd like to point out that 5 drivers won their first ever Winston Cup race in the Daytona 500. Andretti has never won a Winston Cup race.
His uncle won here in '67. Mario pulled it off in grand style for Holman Moody. You were here in '67, both of you guys, weren't you? And he tore one car right in half out here practicing.
I was not racing. That's the first year that I didn't race. That's when I...
Ken, I've been here for the first of any race that you've ever been at.
Oh.
Boy, that's 4 good ones up front there. Terry Labonte, though, has some strength in this race car, but I think he's going to get tested here pretty quick. You see Sterling Marlin moving in, but look at the racing back here.
Yeah, they're racing side by side back there, and that front group's about to run away. Bill Elliott gets around Mark Martin. There's Lake Speed down on the inside. He wants to go by Mark Martin. A lot of Fords in there together. There's Jeff Burton with a brand new Jack Roush team right up there beside of Dale Jarrett on the outside. Jarrett's car is the blue one with the orange numerals. But they're running side by side there in that front group about to pull away from them.
Yeah, that side by side is 9th. 8th is Elliott. No margin for error at 190 miles an hour around this 2.5-mile track. And the pressure on these drivers. Amazing. Stay with us. More to come in the Great American Race.
I got Prime Star because I love news and sitcoms and dramas and sports. I always wanted to play football. Oh. Maybe not. Okay, so I admit I love TV. And with Prime Star's 95 channels, I get it all in digital, picture, and sound. You want to know the best part? You don't have to buy the dish. Prime Star is a service. There's no equipment to buy. And it all starts at about $1 a day. Enjoy.
Call 1-800-PRIME-STAR.
Enter the Performance Zone with Splitfire Performance V spark plugs.
Get your passing gear, you're gone.
The difference in gas mileage has been fantastic.
Splitfire Performance V spark plugs mean better performance, more horsepower, and better mileage. So say the experts and the people who use them.
They're the best plugs I ever put in my car.
Enter the Performance Zone only with Splitfire Performance V's, guaranteed. You'd never seen anything like it, but you soon learned its name, a name that dominated the 80s. Now Ford Taurus lays claim to a new era with another revolutionary design, with outstanding performance, a roomier interior, and a penchant for quality, all leading to a familiar result. For the 4th straight year, Ford Taurus is the best-selling car in America. The new Ford Taurus, well equipped for just $19,390, picking up right where it left off.
Where will you be when your battery decides to die? There's no way of knowing. So if your battery's more than 3 years old, don't chance it. Maybe this is the time to get to Sears and replace it with the one that's America's most trusted, the Die-Hard battery. Before yours dies, get the Die-Hard at Sears Auto Center.
Next on CBS, it's a Big Ten battle. Bobby Knight's Indiana Hoosiers march into Michigan and ready for the madness of March. CBS is college basketball.
Back with you at Daytona, and for the first time in this race, Sterling Marlin has assumed the lead. The first laps he's led 2 of them now. You see Andretti in second. Where is Earnhardt? He's falling back. He is out of the top 8, and here you see another move being made by Dale Jarrett to take him out of the top 10.
Again, very uncharacteristic. He just moved over and let the front group go, and he's falling back now.
There it was. That was 3rd spot. And all of a sudden, John Andretti put the blitz on the inside. He was followed through by Schrader. Here comes Ricky Rudd. And here comes Dick Berggren to tell us more about this.
Well, we're going to let David Smith tell you what's going on with Dale Earnhardt. He's the brand new crew chief. David, what's happening?
Well, right now, just the way the draft's working out, Dick, it's just, a guy gets under your back end and gets you a little bit loose, and then everybody freight trains you. We're not, we're pretty good, but if somebody gets in the right place, they get you loose. So he'll just work his way back up again. He's not hollering a whole lot.
As long as he's not hollering. Ken Squire?
So that's at 78 laps, 195 miles. He's staying in the lead lap, but they're saying he doesn't want to be up in there.
Wait a minute, something happened to the 4 cars. Sterling Marlin off the pace, definitely.
Sterling Marlin attempting to be the first driver in history, and he's coming down through the gears.
Yeah, that spells big trouble there, it looks like. And the report is that maybe he has an engine problem.
Sterling Marlin's hopes for the 500 look like they're turning sour right now, as does his engine.
You could see him reach up and shut the switch off just as he entered turn 3 there. You could see smoke coming up in the cockpit of the race car there.
Third in points a year ago behind Gordon and Earnhardt in that great battle right down to the end of the season at Atlanta. It looks like it may be over for Sterling Marlin today, for sure. With as many as 30 cars still in that lead draft, to go down a couple of laps here is going to hurt you bad. 73-74. Petty tried and failed. 83-84. Cale, so close, and he failed. And now Sterling Marlin, in trying to become the first man to win it 3 in a row, sees it end early. Here's Mike Joy.
He's coasted in, Ken, and the engine is not running. Tony Glover goes to and his crew go to the hood pins. They're going to lift the hood. Sterling is not unhooking as of yet. And they're going to have a look inside. He may have crushed into somebody. They're looking down at the right front suspension. A little puff of oil smoke as he refires the motor. And a bit of smoke out the header pipe. They are not sure what's wrong just yet.
Boy, sounds pretty strong for something blown up to me.
It does.
Mystery surrounding car number 4, two-time defending 500 champion, Sterling Marlin. John Andretti, no mystery. He's put that Ford right out in front. Is that our 11th different leader today, or had he led earlier? I think that's number 11. John Andretti. Watching Marlin there on the upper right of your screen. They continue to try and diagnose what's happened to the Morgan McClure car.
Terry Labonte wants to lead, but he couldn't quite do it. It might have cost him his second position.
That's his teammate. There's what a teammate will do. He'll pass you if he gets a shot. The Schrader's trying to get by on the outside.
Take a look at Earnhardt.
Yeah, he has come right just like his crew chief David Smith said he would do. Said he'll work his way back up there, and sure enough, here he comes.
Ned, what he probably did is just drop back enough to cool the tires and make another run. He was getting uncomfortable when the car got right up under the back of the car, meaning the car is a little bit loose. The back end tends to go towards the wall on him.
Terry Labonte moved back with Ken Schrader just in front of him. Up on this leader, Indianapolis, Indiana's John Andretti. 1 in midgets, 1 in sprints, 1 in the Silver Crown Series, 1 here in the 24 Hours of Daytona, 1 in sports car racing at Sebring. This is a guy that has that versatility, which is the mark of the Andretti family. Mike Joy with Sterling Marlin.
Runt Pittman says fire it up, and Sterling starts it again. They've looked in the back of the car, feeling the exhaust. Let's go back here where they're looking at a bit of oil smoke out the breather. Now Runt Pittman has leaned in. He's looking at a read at the gauges. Marlin just sits here in frustration.
Now Runt Pittman is the man who built that engine and has built those engines that have won the last 2 years. He is probably one of the finest engine builders in NASCAR.
Ken, look who's moved into 4th place. Bill Elliott is on the move right now. He runs this type of race. You see the red car there with the white front end on it.
I said probably. That's wrong. He is one of the best builders in NASCAR. And the Wood brothers, they're back in it another time. Michael Waltrip in this group, he's up to 8th position at this point. And here's Bill Elliott, the 94. Won this race twice, 85 and 87. And the McDonald's car having a great ride at the present time. Gets himself right up in the front 4.
Ned, look how still his hands are through the corners there. That car is really working well. Bill's a very patient race car driver. You see him reaching there, just adjusting stuff down the straightaway before he gets back in the corner again.
Looks very casual. Just like he's driving down the road.
Bill Elliott chasing Andretti, Schrader, and Rudd. CBS Sports coverage of the Daytona 500 continues after this message and a word from your local station.
The damage that could be done by biological weapons in America would be could be devastating.
Especially in the hands of a terrorist. 60 Minutes tonight.
Monday in prime time.
Who's there?
It's Dave with Robin Williams, Roseanne, John Goodman, Regis, Jerry Seinfeld, Dave's mom, Sybil Shepherd, Steve Martin, Brett Butler, Gary Shandling, and
Miss America himself, Howard Stern.
plus Dave's favorite Late Show video.
I am Dave's sister.
The Late Show video special. Monday at Sun 9 Central.
You're on CBS.
Now it's your time. It's your time. When you get on your grand man, ride, ride, ride.
Get your Grand Am GT now. Just $225 a month with $225 down. See your local Florida Pontiac dealer.
Our friends couldn't understand our interest in drag racing until we took them to a race. When the first 300-mile-an-hour Top Fuel dragster covered the quarter mile in 4 seconds, they were hooked, and there was something for them to see and do all day. Cool-looking cars, good food, great displays, and lots of families. It was like a car show and a county fair combined.
The Back Tools Gator Nationals, March 14th through the 17th at Gainesville Raceway. Tickets at Ticketmaster.
Surviving a robbery, Monday on 10 News at 6.
CBS Sports presentation of the Daytona 500 is sponsored by Valvoline, the #1 choice of America's top mechanics. Prime Star, mini dish satellite television. And by Dynomax, performance exhaust systems engineered by Walker.
There you see the front of the field being led by Indianapolis, Indiana's John Andretti. But the story is Sterling Marlin. 6 laps down. He's just made a lap, but come back to pit road or maybe coming back to pit road. More on that from Mike Joy.
Ken Sterling has brought the Morgan McClure car behind the wall. The man in the red sweatshirt is Runt Pittman, engine builder extraordinaire, and he is holding a pair of rocker arms. They have broken the rocker arms on the left side of the engine. They'll have to pull the cover and replace them. This is about a 10 to 12 minute repair. Dick Berggren?
Well, another guy with engine problems is the number 5 of Terry Labonte. Gary Dehart, what is wrong with your car?
I wish I knew. I think it may have a valve spring or something going in it. Something's locking up, or we thought it was the brakes holding a little bit, but it says the motor is surging a little bit, and we're thinking it might be a spring or something.
That's a shame. That was one of the strongest cars in practice and qualifying. Kent?
Yes, it was. And that happened just not long after Sterling Marlin had his problem. Terry started dropping back, and we were covering the Marlin situation there and almost forgot about Terry Labonte, but he did drop right out of the lead draft.
Earnhardt has pulled up into 5th position. More from Mike Joy.
Sterling Marlin has a cockpit full of smoke and a heart full of ache. What happened?
Something in the motor broke. As soon as we got the lead and run 4 or 5 laps there, it just went sour, lost about 400 RPMs, broke rock arm, smoking real bad. I don't know.
How'd the car feel up till then?
Well, it was a little tight. The chassis was a little off, and man, we just got it fixed right where we wanted and got the lead, and I said, well, here we go again, but the engine broke on us.
All right, they'll try to fix it and get him back out for some Winston Cup points. Ken Squire?
So there's no three-peat. Richard couldn't do it, Cale, and now Sterling fails in his effort. Watching the front 5 come by. Andretti, Schrader, Rudd, Elliott, Earnhardt, front 5. And where's Rusty Wallace today? There's the number 2 right in there behind Morgan Shepherd. His new colors, number 75. Rusty Wallace in the 2 car.
Now, they're about a quarter of a lap behind the leaders, Ken.
He's being shown in 27th position. He's still in the lead lap.
Oh, yes.
As is Shepherd.
Could use a caution flag to catch up. And there you see the cars passing Terry Labonte. He just doesn't have the speed on the straightaway, losing that cylinder.
In fact, Wallace has now he's lost a spot again. He had gone by Shepherd. Now Shepherd's gone back by him.
Well, you see Rusty dropping off just a little down the straightaways. The damage he got in the first wreck that he was in today, he spun and had some damage to the side of the car. And you know aerodynamics is everything here at Daytona. He may be just a little bit off there, or he may be just taking it a little easy right at the moment.
And Loy Allen in the number 19 is just in front of them. Loy is now being shown in 24th. Up in 23rd is Bobby Hamilton. Back with those leaders.
There we saw Ernie Irvin down on the inside. He's back out there just making some laps, many laps down.
But making a move to get himself out in front. That's Schrader.
Yeah, Schrader's showing a lot of horsepower right now. He moved right to the bottom of John Andretti, but look at John. He says, hey, I enjoyed running up front here at Daytona. He looks like he has a lot of race car. There's a story we're going to talk about in a little bit about John Andretti's car.
Look at that. Schrader right back by him another time, and here comes Andretti back to dish it out again on the high side.
And what this is going to do, it's going to tighten everybody up, and we're going to see some more side-by-side racing behind them because they sucked right up to them. You get two cars running side by side, and it really creates a wide draft.
Ford on the outside, Chevy on the inside, seesawing back and forth as you watch it live. 190-mile-an-hour fracas here. John Andretti has said, racing to me is not fun if you're not winning. And that little impish smile must be from ear to ear as he goes for it. And here comes Earnhardt into it. And here comes Ricky Rudd and McDonald and everybody else. Oh, what a race.
Now, John Andretti done something very smart there. He looked in his mirror. He could see Earnhardt coming. He tucked right in behind Schrader. Now Earnhardt's out to dry again on the outside.
Schrader back into the lead another time. 11 different leaders if you're just joining us in this 38th edition of this American Racing Classic, the Daytona 500. There you see the laps led by car category. Pontiac still has to score a lap in front. Their best hope in the race, Ward Burton, in trouble in the Bill Davis number 22 car. And the battle is all Ford and Chevy right now. Look at Mark Martin pulling along back into this thing. And here comes Bill Elliott in the 94. Out in front it's Schrader, then Andretti, then Earnhardt, and then even across between a couple of Fords. Back there as they dice for fourth.
You can see Mark Martin making a move. Bill Elliott, as we ride down the front straightaway here, he's showing a lot of muscle right in the middle part of the race here. You can see him going in right on the white line, going in the corner. Good race car.
237.5 miles are down, moving toward the midway point. Dale Jarrett's back another time in the 88. The Quality Care Ford, credit Ford, exerting some muscle and back to sixth position. And remember, just a few laps ago, he was out of the top 10.
He's actually moved up to fifth right now, so he has gradually worked his way back up there. They made a big adjustment on that car during the last pit stop. Seemed to help him.
See Martin's Valvoline Ford, Roush Racing, giving us these great shots. Mark Martin's another one that's been a bit star-crossed here at Daytona. But what a racer he is. And Arkansas is so proud of him. A dozen of them at halfway, bumper to bumper, in the 38th annual Daytona 500. With Ken Schrader out of Fenton, Missouri, currently in the lead. Indiana's Andretti second. North Carolina's Earnhardt maintaining third. Georgia's pride, Bill Elliott in fourth.
Big prize coming up here at the halfway mark. They're jockeying, trying to get themselves in position to take, what is it, like $20,000? Big prize, I don't know. It's a lot to me if it's more than 1,000. 10,000.
Sterling Marlin back out another time here at Daytona.
It's a simple concept. The bigger the hole, the easier air can flow through it. That's the idea behind Dynamax, the performance exhaust with the open airflow. Dynamax. Its patented open design maximizes your engine's full power potential, so you can really haul. Performance exhaust systems, engineered by Walker. Dynamax.
You want to know how to choose a motor oil? Take a ride to your local garage and see what the mechanic puts into his own car. Fact is, of all the brands of motor oil, more ASE certified master technicians choose Valvoline for use in their own cars and trucks. So before you buy a motor oil for your car, know the one more top mechanics put into theirs. Valvoline, the #1 choice of America's top mechanics.
You know, I think they're the best fans in the whole world. Most of the tracks we go to, there's not a vacant seat anywhere.
It's great to be part of a sport that keeps getting bigger and better every year.
I love automobile racing. I couldn't be doing this if there weren't people in the grandstand.
They're what make NASCAR.
Just thank you. Thank you for all the times that you come to the racetrack and sit in the rain. Thank you for all the times you come to the racetrack and sit in 200-degree heat. Thanks.
NASCAR fans, it's true. You're the best in all of sports.
Every few years, the world gathers to witness an unparalleled sports spectacle, the Truckathlon. And to compete, you have to have a Ford Ranger 4x4, because you'll need its switch-on four-wheel drive for truck long jump. It's four-wheel anti-lock brakes for truck discus. And it's whopping 4-liter V6 for truck hurdle. The Ford Ranger 4x4. You can't win without one.
Next event, truck pole vault.
Yes! We're back at Daytona, facing off for halfway in this one. Who's going to take that bonus? Schrader is right there. John Andretti coming after Chevy Ford again, up in front as they come down to the line. This is for the halfway mark in the race. Everybody watching as they come to the strike.
It's a $10,000 bonus.
Yeah. Look at Andretti cutting to the inside. Andretti moving up through, and here comes Earnhardt as well. But the halfway mark, the cross flags, went to Schrader for $10,000.
Bill Elliott, they're making a move on Schrader now. He's trying to get up in the mix here.
Tell you what, whenever you put an extra prize up in a race, those drivers just seem to perk up. Makes a whole different race out of it for a moment or two. Schrader just stuck it out there, collected that extra money.
Dale Jarrett moving in there. He's trying to move up and get himself in position.
Ned, I can remember stories from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where they used to put up a free barbecue at the Piggy Park, and Baker'd go by 5 guys in about 2 laps.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Get a free barbecue. Well, there's 4 cars singling out, trying to pull away. Andretti the leader. Of course, Earnhardt second, Bill Elliott third, Dale Jarrett in 4th place.
I'm amazed at John Andretti. I'm not really amazed. I mean, they've run well all week long. Their practices have been good. In every training period, that car really looks stout.
That's a fast race car. There's some fast race cars as well. That's Ken Schrader there on the left of the screen. He's running in 5th place. Mark Martin is 6th. Ted Musgrave is 7th. See, they aren't far behind the others. The others haven't pulled away at all. There they are right back up there. Michael Waltrip.
Ricky Rudd back in that lead group. And let me ask you folks, you particularly, Ned, you've seen so many up here with us. What do you think of the first half of this race?
I think it's been what we expected. A lot of good close racing. The cars seem to be pretty equal out there. Depends on who gets a break or who has the right chassis set up at a particular time. But we still got lots of cars in the lead lap, and this thing is far from over.
You nailed it right at the outset when you said it would be a Chevy Ford showdown, and they just keep swapping those manufacturer marks back and forth throughout this thing, buddy.
Well, what I'm seeing right now, the patient drivers that didn't get in a hurry right at the first part of the race. Now they've had a couple of pit stops. They've worked on the cars, and you can see them coming to the forefront, just like Bill Elliott. He's moved himself into 3rd place now. Don't be surprised if this man's not right up there at the end.
Okay, Ford, Chevy, Ford, 1, 2, 3 in the Daytona 500. It's a pleasure to be here with one of the all-time giants of American racing, Ned Jarrett, 2-time Winston Cup champion, and an old buddy who, boy, I'll tell you, in 1980 here on CBS, just had that thing flying and gave us the fastest 500 ever at 177-mile-an-hour average. Check in with David Hobbs.
Well, I'm down with Larry McReynolds, of course, Ernie Irvin's crew chief, but now you're down in Dale Jarrett's pit. Is this a team effort?
Well, as we've said all week, that we're one race team filled in 2 cars, and it's unfortunate for the Texaco Havoline Ford. I think we was going to have an awfully good car today, and somebody checked up in front of Earnhardt, and Earnhardt checked up, and we hit Dale, and somebody hit us, and so I come down here, and anything I can help Todd Parrott and his Quality Care Ford team do to pull this Daytona 500 off, that's what I'm here to do. And just take care of Ernie, just keep him out there making laps. Again, it's early in this Winston Cup points chase, but if we can help Dale Jarrett win this race, that's what we're going to do.
Dale's coming up through the field again. We heard he had some front fender damage. Is the car okay now?
Yeah, it's got the car pushing just a little bit, or the front end won't quite stick like it should. We're going to make a few adjustments on this pit stop, you know. Right now, as long as this car's pushing, you can still hang on, so we got to be careful and not get the car loose, because that's when you'll lose the draft.
Okay, well, we'll see you later on, Larry.
I hope so.
Now down to Mike Joy.
Well, David, we're coming up on the first green flag pit stop of the day, and a drafting partner is so important on the track, you need a partner to pit with as well. Here in Ricky Rudd's pit, they've sent an emissary up and down pit road to find a pit stop partner. I've got a note from Bill Elliott's pit. They're looking to do the same thing, and they're right next door. I think I'll introduce them. Kev?
Now, why would you need a pit stop partner, Mike? Why would that become important here?
So that as you exit the pits, you have someone else to draft with. If one car gets back up to speed by itself, it's some 5 miles an hour slower than if you have a drafting partner or two. So if you pit in tandem and go back out that way, you get back up to full speed fastest and don't lose a draft.
And there's the story, folks, from Mike Joy. Ned?
And also, once they get up to full speed, if you're coming out of the pits, boy, they'll blow by you so fast that you can't pick up the draft. So you need someone to help you.
Ned, there's almost a full second difference in a car that has a drafting partner and one out there by itself. That's the main thing. You have to have somebody to keep that speed up while those lead cars are all hooked up running around the racetrack.
And, of course, the big story here, pit stop under green. We'll be giving you some split-screen action so you can keep track of these things. But here's where you're going to see teamwork play the vital role that it does in Winston Cup racing, because the driver will get a break for about 12 seconds. That's 135-degree heat out there in that cockpit he's fighting right now while he's fighting with all these other drivers. So he gets a timeout, maybe 12 seconds. And if one guy makes a mistake on pit road and costs him a second, that costs him 300 feet on the track. So you want to be on your toes, and those veteran crews that have been together a while. And I might point out that John Andretti's crew has now been together for 2 years, and they have spent some of this time in the winter period preparing for just such a moment as this.
Ricky Rudd coming into the pits now as Dave Marcus, Chad Little, and Robert Presley go out. So pit stops.
Rudd in 11th position as he comes onto pit road.
There was Presley getting his speed up as the leaders went by, so he went a lap down. Bobby Hamilton and Richard Petty's car is also going out of the pits.
Grissom and Dahlin back in. And here's Mike Joy.
Ricky Rudd is in. Pat Trice and Randy Usher carry the tires around for Dave Anthony and Bill Johnson to change. John Bryan has the car in the air. Randy Hildreth, first can of gas. Carl Larson with the second can. Chris Pinto on the catch can. Around to the left side. Crew chief Richard Groom is upstairs spotting. Ross Friesinger runs things here in the pit. Left side tires going on. Wipe of the grill. The clean it all runs down. And he is away. Ken?
Andretti stays first. Elliott goes to second. Critical time in the race. Kenny Wallace has just pitted. Bobby Labonte in and out. Brett Bodine making his pit stop. This all under green as you follow the leaders coming down out of turn number 2 with Andretti in first. Elliott in second. And back to third comes Dale Jarrett.
Boy, that 3 Fords up front has been a long time since you've seen a Ford able to run a full gas stop and still be in front. They have good downforce this year. Boy, they're going to be tough all
Some of them coming into the pits. Bill Elliott, all of them coming in.
All of them coming in.
There's your partners.
Yep. Pick you one. And they'll pick the one who makes a pit stop equal to them. Some of these will make better pit stops than others.
And the square dance begins on pit road. We follow Elliott onto pit road. Andretti is in. Andretti already up. All of them coming to a halt here. Here's Mike Joy.
On the right front of Bill Elliott's car, Joe Garoni, who used to work with the Rick Corelli Super Truck effort. Charles Wright on the rear, Jerry Lump with the jack, Jimmy Penland with the gas. This is a fast stop. 2 tires for Elliott. Here's Dick Bergeron.
Lots of new guys on Earnhardt's pit. The front tires used to be Andy Petrie. This time is Gene Dehart. Mike Ward is the jack man. He's new today, and they had a tough pit stop. David Hahn.
Well, that was a quick pit stop for Dale Jarrett. They changed all 4 tires, cleaned the wire on the front, and of course they put a couple of turns in that left rear spring to try and get rid of some of that push. You've got the left front, the right front fender is just slightly damaged, which is giving that push. They tried to alleviate it by changing the rear weight. Back to you, Ken.
See Earnhardt back to speed, and here's number 7 in trouble on pit road being pushed, and there's bigger problems than...
You can see the overflow there coming back from the radiator. It was running a little bit hot while he was stopped there. You could see it spewing water out. That gets the driver's attention when it goes up on the windshield like that.
Hut Strickland on pit road. Here's Mike.
Here's that Cale Yarborough-owned car. Cale is up on top of the truck spotting today. Jeremy Mayfield. Behind the wheel is Fuzz Bergdorf. Goes the right sides. Jack Van comes around. That's Robert Fisher. Al Allen is done on the right rear. Jamie Bishop gets the second can of gas in. Left side, wheels and tires are on. 5 lug nuts hammered home. Down goes the jack, and away goes Jeremy.
Nice stop.
And the leader coming down pit road, John Andretti. Well, see, he was down pit road there a moment ago, was he not?
I thought he was the first
one. I thought he came in with the lead.
Yeah.
He came in with the lead crew.
Second
Here
time
he is
in.
back on pit road. Wow, this will be a costly situation.
Here's Dick Berggren.
Well, they're working on the right side of the car. Darrell Andrews is over there working on it. A couple of the other men, they have changed the right rear tire. Tim Brewer, what happened?
Tire changer didn't get the right rear wheel tight.
Oh, boy. Right rear wasn't on tight. They had to come back in and do it again.
That's what we were talking about before these green flags stopped, and it was an extra stop for John Andretti. So he has to stitch up his morale and try to come back into this thing from a lap down. We'll see about that.
He will probably go a lap down because the leaders are in the same corner. As he comes off and starts down the back straightaway, the leaders are in the middle of number 1 and 2 corner.
All of that drafting strategy they were planning, nobody came out with anybody else out there. Bill Elliott has a big advantage right now over Dale Jarrett.
Let's get real here. Brakes stop your wheels, but tires stop your car. That's why Goodyear's newest AquaTread, the all-season AquaTread 2, has a deeper, wider aqua channel than the original AquaTread to sweep more water away for outstanding wet traction. And AquaTread 2 has high-tensile steel belts for puncture resistance. Think about it. Brakes stop your wheels, but tires stop your car. Get a set of AquaTreads. Only from Goodyear.
You don't ever drop your guard here at Daytona. You come here for the speed. 195 mile an hour plus. It's intimidating. That's my kind of race. That's the kind of race I like. I've won here. I've lost here. Had so many memories. You know, you just get too comfortable with it, it'll bite you in a minute. The track demands respect.
Busch Beer is proud to bring you the great tracks of NASCAR, now featuring the Daytona International Speedway.
It's the track.
With new spark plugs, you get improved performance for a while. But only Bosch Platinum has a pure platinum center electrode that's heat fused for an airtight seal. So Bosch Platinum reaches its self-cleaning temperature faster for full engine power over a longer performance life. Which means you'll replace a lot of other things before you change your Bosch Platinums. Bosch Platinum, the ultimate spark plug.
A car engine has as little as 1/1000th of an inch of motor oil protecting its parts. But friction and heat can make motor oil become volatile and vaporize, weakening its ability to protect vital parts. Texaco Haviland Formula 3 is formulated to control volatility, fight vaporization, and provide complete engine protection, no matter what you drive.
Add more life to your car. Take it to the star.
This race summary is sponsored by Texaco Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Controls volatility and fights vaporization.
Back here at Daytona, after 280 miles, 13 different leaders, 21 lead changes, speed at 158 miles an hour, and 3 caution periods thus far in the race. Cars out of the race officially? Well, here they are. Dick Trickle and Derek Cope, and we understand you can add a third name to that list, and that would be Sterling Marlin, who had been trying to win it 3 years in a row. Here's your leader at the present time, with a very handsome advantage. First to second, 2 5/10 of a second. Bill Elliott over Dale Jarrett, but Jarrett is closing.
Yeah, about 3 laps ago, he was 4.5 seconds, and now Jarrett has hooked up with John Andretti, and they are closing in fast. Elliott just sitting out there running by himself, no drafting help. Now, a bunch of the cars back behind them have been able to hook up together. They came out of the pits pretty far apart, but now they've closed back in, so they've picked up a big draft there as well.
Now, Andretti is a lap down. John Andretti is in 29th position, a lap down from the leaders after that extra pit stop. But he's up there running with the front group, hoping to get a break and get himself back around. We've seen others do it lots of times, make up ground, including Bill Elliott, the man currently leading this race.
Ken, you see Bill Elliott going down through there, but these cars that are right behind him are all hooked up in a fast draft. They'll run him down within the next 2 to 3 laps unless he finds somebody that's running equal to his speed to hook up with before they get there.
Now, Bill Elliott only got right side tires that time. That's one reason he got the big advantage. He didn't change all 4 tires, sitting out there running by himself.
Back on the track, Jeff Gordon, well down after he had trouble bouncing off the wall in turn 4. Gordon is many laps down, like 105, but he's out there giving it a try, trying to pick up some points, because at the end of the year, when they get to Atlanta for the grand finale, those points really can count. So, what, 34 points made the difference? It's the national championship this year. Bill Elliott has now led in 9 Daytona 500s. Here's Mike Joy.
Terry Labonte had a lengthy pit stop with the hood up. Gary DeHart, what's the problem?
Well, we thought we had a broke valve spring. We still may have. We don't know. The motor's pretty flat. I don't know. We're just going to ride around and try to end the day. We don't have a shot at doing anything.
That's tough news. They had such a good run going. He's now 2 laps down in, what, 34th position, Terry Labonte. Remember, we saw that number 5 car out there showing the way for so long. And now look at the battle. It's beginning to collect up in front. Remember, as you watch the number 94 of Bill Elliott in the lead, that John Andretti car is a lap down. And the guy he's dragged along with him, Dale Jarrett, 93 winner.
That was within 2 laps there. That's how much advantage the draft has on these cars. Now, Bill Elliott will get an advantage now that they've caught up to him, and it'll be hard to pass him.
Now, certainly, John Andretti has helped to pull Dale Jarrett up there to Bill Elliott, but also Jarrett has helped John Andretti. If he can pass Bill Elliott now, that'll put him back in the lead lap, and his car has been fenced enough here all day long that he might be able to stay out there, and if he should get a caution, put him right back in this thing.
Putting a lap on Jeff Gordon. Elliott out in front. He's had some grim luck in the past few years. He's not won a race for a while. He said one day you wake up and you think you've forgotten how to drive a race car. Believe me, he hasn't, as he stays in front now. But look at this closing on him. Here's Dale Jarrett trying to move under Andretti. Andretti 1 lap down to the leader, now 1 lap down to both the 88 and the 94. But maybe not for long.
No, maybe not for long, because the 37 is coming back. And while they're racing, that group of cars behind Earnhardt and them are going to catch up to them. They need to be singled out, because those other cars are coming in a hurry back there.
Ned, look at the advantage that Bill Elliott has now that they started running side by side. Bill Elliott's starting to stretch his lead just a little bit on him.
They came up to Elliott, thought they would be able to pull right around, but they were not able to.
Now, why would John want to continue to work the outside there? Why wouldn't he want to tuck in, try to get those Fords away from those Chevys?
I don't know, that's a good question.
I'd say that Earnhardt and them are going, oh, yeah, this is fine with me,
yeah.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, they love it.
That interval has really closed up. You see that 30 car? That's Johnny Benson, the Grand National champion a year ago.
Look at Earnhardt coming up on the inside there. He puts Benson away. That car is flying. He shucked that group that he was really going up through there with, and now moves himself into contention to catch Bill Elliott.
Benson is a lap down in 30th. His first Winston Cup performance. Excuse me. That's a little close. Jeff Podias, number 7. Jeff hasn't been having as much fun as he wanted out here today. Jeff is 1 lap down in 28th position in the black number 7.
The green car you see here, Robert Presley, just behind Dale Earnhardt. He's run a great race today. He's moved himself into contention also.
Yes, he has. Robert Presley did not have the kind of year he wanted a year ago. Battled Ricky Craven for Rookie of the Year and lost out in that venture. But today, looking strong. Andy Petrie, now the crew chief, as Ned pointed out earlier. Jeff Gordon back in the garage area. Looks like he's clambering out for the final time. His 500's over. Here's David.
Well, Andy Petrie, the crew chief on Robert Presley's car, took a gamble and only put 2 tires on, the outside tires on that pit stop. And they came in and they did, the whole stop was just in 10 seconds. So they came in 12th position and returned in 5th. And, of course, as you say, now they're up to 4th. Back to you again.
And they're really staying with this field. There you see that number 33 of Robert Presley. Great racing family, the Presleys.
Yeah, his father, Bob Presley, I think has finally given it up. He's well into his 50s, but I think he's about ready to quit racing.
You see Elton Sawyer in the number 27 getting lapped out here. Elton Sawyer running 2 laps down in 33rd position as Presley and Schrader hitch up in a draft and close up on those leaders. Talk about close racing. All these lead changes, 21 lead changes among 13 drivers. It sure is a driver's race this year. Top 3. Top 2.
Yeah, actually.
1 lap down.
Yeah. But Andretti had dropped back there with Earnhardt in that group, and he pulled back away from them and caught Elliott and Jarrett once again. But Earnhardt, he's sucking right on up there, too. Can't leave that down.
Earnhardt was there a moment ago and then pulled back about 6 or 7 car lengths. I don't think he's pulled that bow back as far as he can before this one's over yet.
Ford Escort is a surprising car. 4 cars, really. The 3-door Sport, the 4-door Sport, the 5-door Sport, and the wagon. You can pick one, any one, for the same low price of just $12,495, which is great because it includes dual airbags, air conditioning, power steering, power mirrors, and a stereo. And it's the only car in its class that can go up to 100,000 miles between recommended tune-ups. Wow, the surprising Ford Escort. Get one with everything, but get it to go.
You know, a lot of people who work on their cars will only shop at AutoZone. They depend on us for the best quality parts and low prices every day. They come in, get what they need, and then get back to work. Because you see, they believe if you want the job done right, you do it yourself. Well, at AutoZone, we couldn't agree more. Because when you take the time and the effort to work on your car yourself, you ought to be choosy about where you shop. We just thank you for choosing AutoZone.
6 million calls an hour, 1 billion calls a week. Because these calls mean so much to you, AT&T treats every one of them as a promise. And to keep all those promises, we've built the most powerful long-distance network in the world. We know that at any time, on any day, any one of those calls could be yours. Promises made, promises kept. That's your true choice, AT&T.
What, is this your idea of excitement? Let me tell you about exciting, okay? Driving around a racetrack at over 200 miles an hour, that's exciting. These are just flakes.
Well, what do you think?
These are really good. They're crispy, too.
Really?
Yeah, they're mighty good even with nothing on them. What are they?
Hey, Charlie.
Yeah.
Kellogg's Corn Flakes?
How could I be so dumb?
You got 500 miles to think about it.
Kellogg's is proud to sponsor NASCAR champion Terry Labonte.
Monday, look out for Dave's primetime video special. And this week on The Late Show, Julia Roberts, Kathy Lee, James Brown, Larry King, and Winona, only on CBS.
126 miles, 126 laps, 315 miles complete. Here's the story up in front. Elliott, Jarrett, Earnhardt, Presley, Schrader, Mike Waltrip. The front of this field in the Daytona 500. And Bill Elliott, 2-time champion here in 85 and 87, staying just in front of the 93 winner. John Andretti in there, trying to make that lap up from those 2 leaders, get himself back in the lead lap. John is being shown in 27th.
see Earnhardt taking a look on John Andretti there. I think he would like to try to make a move, but John Andretti's car is extremely fast down the straightaway. He pulls right back up in the draft, but Robert Presley there may have something to do with helping Earnhardt get by John Andretti.
Looks like now Earnhardt dips down to the inside.
Take a look a little further back out here in the field. There you see the 9 car running in 11th spot, leg speed, followed by Jimmy Spencer. And the number 90, Mike Wallace, having a good run for Ginny Donlevy today. Mike Wallace in 13th position and Jeff Burton in the number 99 in 14th. And in this gaggle, here comes Earnhardt back for the lead another time. Elliott, Jarrett, Earnhardt, 1, 2, 3.
Well, whatever happened, I guess John Andretti realized he couldn't make the pass to get back in the same lead, so he moved up just a little bit. Now Dale Jarrett's in second, Earnhardt in third. You see Schrader and Robert Presley fighting it through the corner there for fourth.
But you can run so much further on a set of tires now than you could before.
Oh, yeah, the tires are not a problem here. They work very well. They'll go a full stop without any problems. The biggest thing right now, look at this competition now. We're well over halfway, and they're still running side by side in the corner. And an elite group right here. There's not a loser in that bunch. Anybody could win this race still yet.
Ooh,
John Andretti sideways.
In the wall. John Andretti taking a hard hit. And fortunately, it's a single car incident, but it's a hard hit for John Andretti.
Don't know how Michael Waltrip, he might have got out of that okay. He was...
You could see Andretti's car running a little loose that last lap. And then this time around, back to a caution flag with Elliott in first, Jarrett second, Earnhardt third.
And Michael Waltrip definitely has some damage on his car. He's coming into the pits, and the pit road is not open right now.
In 8th position, number 21, the Wood Brothers car. There's John Andretti's demolished machine.
The fluid you see in there just behind that car, that's radiator fluid. The fuel cell did its job there. I don't see any gasoline running out of that car at all.
Damage on the nose of the number 21 for Michael Waltrip. Here's John out of his car. NASCAR officials putting out the flag. See Mike Helton there on the right. I think that's Jim Bachhoven next to him. John Andretti had led 23 laps. Then had gone a lap down, was in 27th. Take a look here.
And you can see right there, Ken, the back end breaks loose on the car, and it goes around. He was on the inside of Robert Presley, and here is Michael Waltrip down on the inside, nowhere to go, gets tagged, damage on the right front of his Ford.
Tremendous impact head-on into that outside wall.
Boy, that car went up in the air a long ways there, but the right window blew out of that car as it started to spin, so that really helped it hold itself down on the racetrack.
Presley on the outside, John Andretti inside.
Right there, the car gets light on the back. You see it turn sideways. Michael hits him. That turns him directly, almost head-on into the corner, into the outside wall, and the car really got up in the air. He's very lucky. You see the roof flaps deploy.
And everybody on pit road.
Earnhardt's crew back in another time. One of the best crews in the business. David Smith now running the shop. Here's Dick Berger.
David Smith is standing behind the pit wall for the first time in some 12 years. Instead, he's got a new guy out in the right front, Gene Dehart, Jack Van, Mike Moore. Chocolate Myers is a veteran. He's put the fuel in the car, and there goes Earnhardt. Mike Joy.
Bill Elliott pulls away after getting 4 tires, and they get a really quick stop. High five all around right here in the Elliott pit. Ricky Rudd gets a turn of wedge, and what this round of pit stops will do, Ken, it will even up the teams that stopped for 2 tires under green with the teams that stopped for 4 tires, like Ricky Rudd, who got 4 tires and then lost the draft. Now everybody has 4 fresh tires, although some teams opted here for only 2 because they just got 4 tires under green. We'll see how it sorts out in a minute, Ken.
Michael Waltrip in another time. 25 cars remain in the lead lap, including Michael Waltrip as the 25th.
But that damage on that right front, the aerodynamics of these cars is so important now with these restricted engines, and that's definitely going to hurt it.
CBS Sports coverage of the Daytona 500 continues after this message and a word from your local station.
Extreme? Try strapping yourself with a 4,000-pound rocket. Then run at 220. 6 inches away from 41 of your closest friends. Real close. NASCAR. Extreme and always has been. Busch. The official beer of NASCAR and always has been.
Everyone is going somewhere. If you're going by car, see us first.
Hugh Mechanic here. This just in. Right now, get 2 McDonald's double cheeseburgers or 2 sausage biscuits with egg for $2. 2 for 2. That's a big deal. Up next, America lands on the moon. Wahoo! Oh, sorry, old script.
You're on CBS.
The Cash and Carry Florida Grand Prix is back. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, February 23rd through 25th at the Thunderdome. Topco Racing for only $10. 5 races in all, featuring the Trans Am Challenge, see top TV stars in the Neon Challenge, and Home Improvement's Tim Allen in the World Challenge, a 5K running race and pro inline skating competition, all at the Thunderdome. Get tickets today as low as $10. And don't forget, Friday is free. Everyone gets in free of charge. The Grand Prix is back.
That car is totaled. It's a shame, too, because the engine and transmission are still good. Now, that car might get purchased by your barely used auto parts dealer, where the undamaged equipment is removed, cleaned, and tested. Save up to 75% and get a warranty. Call your barely used auto parts dealer today.
Your barely used auto parts dealers are Pasco Auto Salvage, Rigsby's Auto Salvage, Clearwater Automotive, and Brandon Auto Salvage.
The curse of the NFL cheerleaders on the next card copy.
Showing 132 laps complete, 330 miles here. And let's take a couple more looks at that incident for John Andretti that has ended his day.
First out of Mark Martin's car. There he's right behind Michael Waltrip in the Citgo car. And there you see Andretti's car getting loose into the wall. Martin drives right on by down on the inside.
Now from Schrader's car.
Well, you're looking back. You see they get very close right there. The back just comes around. What happened there is the air got off the spoiler, just turned him around, and then he got tagged, and that put him almost head-on into the backside wall over there.
But it looks like that Robert Presley might have touched the wall a little bit on that shot, and he's been in and out of the pits several times. In fact, he's coming back into the pits right now as we get the signal for one more lap to go before we go green.
Well, Robert Presley moved up to third, so apparently he had some problems there.
To David Hobbs.
Well, I'm with John Andretti. John, you were having just such a fantastic run here, and it all went wrong there at turn 2. What happened?
Well, we got a little bit behind, I guess, after the one pit stop. We had a loose right rear tire, and we came back out. We were with Bill was leading the race, and we just needed to get up back in front of him and get a yellow. Unfortunately, we ended up being the yellow.
This is your 3rd season in NASCAR. Boy, you seem to have really got the grip of it this weekend.
Well, the car was running really well. I have to thank the whole Kmart Little Caesars team. They worked especially hard. It's unfortunate that we're going to have to take that one home, probably throw it away, but we got 2 more purple ones there.
Well, there you see a typical Andretti one-liner. Got to throw it away. I hope not, but back to you, Ken, and thanks very much, John.
As we watch this incident again, he is so famous for his one-liners. I can remember '89, that terrible crash. There was nothing left of an Indy car up at Pocono, Pennsylvania. 4 weeks later, they put him back in a car in Nazareth, Pennsylvania, and he said, I wasn't walking, but I was driving.
You could see then that Robert Presley did get into the outside wall coming off turn 4. Or 2, rather, pardon me.
Let's go to Mike Joy.
Ken Schrader can hear, but he can't talk. They think that they've broken the plug on the top of the radio. They want to replace it. Andy Lovell's brought a whole new radio set here, but they have to also replace the push-to-talk switch and the whole radio harness. They'll have to do that under a fairly lengthy caution so Schrader doesn't lose all his track position. He can't hear, but Ned and Buddy, you probably know best how drivers would communicate with their pit crews without radios.
And as you look at that...
signals.
Hand signals, for sure.
Green, green, green.
You see Ricky Craven showing up in the top 10 here. He's in 7th, number 41, just in front of Schrader as they come down to the line. Schrader 8, Craven 7, Earnhardt 6, Musgrave 5th, Kyle Petty, Mark Martin, and that's the radio of Dale Jarrett you hear on the start, with Bill Elliott showing the way.
They both went into the pits running first and second, came out of the pits running first and second. Ken, we might mention that Brett Bodine actually led a lap, at least one lap there during that caution. He stayed out, didn't make a pit stop until late, got him 5 bonus points. Brett his own team this year, minus Junior, drove for Junior Johnson last year, and Junior Johnson has sold out. First time since this racetrack opened back in 1959 that Junior Johnson has not been here either as a driver or as a car owner.
Junior, who won this race in its second outing, he is missed.
See Mark Martin running along here right now. He's in 3rd place. He's 4th in the lineup right there. Bodine's a lap down, but Mark Martin is running a very conservative race. He hadn't been much in the spotlight, but he's right up front now. You see him on the outside there as Dale Earnhardt starts to muscle by him on the inside.
And how about Kyle Petty running up there in the top 5? He must have been one of those that only made trouble.
Bad wreck in turn 2. That's Mike Wallace, number 90, front end gone on the Donlevy car. Let's see what else is in there. I think Brett Bodine, the man we were just talking about, who lost a car out here early on in the practice, had one burned down on him. Loy Allen is in it, and look at Mike Wallace's car. Short in front and back, racing back to the line. Elliott comes across first, Dale Jarrett second, Earnhardt third. Heavy hit on the Mike Wallace car, number 90.
The only 3 brothers sat in the race today, Mike Wallace, Kenny Wallace, and Rusty Wallace.
The good thing, you could see Mike Wallace moving around in there. He's unhooking all the equipment that you have to hook up to run a race like this, but he is moving around in the car quite well.
Apparently he's told them that he's okay. They aren't motioning for any, and here comes Mike out of the car.
That's always good news.
Started 17th today. Mike Wallace has won over, 300 short track races out in the Missouri area. Takes a look at the shambles of car number 90.
And he was one of those drivers that was still in the lead lap before this happened. So
having a good run today. Bobby Labonte may have got a piece of that too in car number 18. There's the Loy Allen car.
Let me explain. You see them all getting in the ambulance there. It's mandatory when you have an accident on a major speedway that you go and have just a precautionary checkup.
And it looked like that Mike Wallace was sort of in the middle of a 3-car deal there. His car got loose, and
his car did just exactly what Andretti's did. The back end started around, and he couldn't. Boy, it's hard to catch one once it starts sideways like that.
I think the greatest save we've seen was his brother down here in the race the other day, making a save on pit road. Came down here 160 miles an hour, but was able to. There's Bobby Labonte's car around on the inside. That's the car on the right of your screen. There's Mike on the upper side. And right behind him is Brett Bodine.
And you can see those roof flaps employed as when the car turns around and goes backwards. You can see the mayor on the 90 car, and Bobby Labonte's a little bit earlier. When the car gets backwards, then those roof flaps come up, help to hold the car down on the track.
Brett Bodine, that's the 3rd car he's lost this week here at Daytona.
The roads are getting rougher, and the chores are just getting tougher. You're working harder than ever. You need a truck that does, too. Meet the all-new 1997 Ford F-150. It throws an even longer shadow, with a wider stance and the largest V8 payload on the job. Plus an all-new suspension that loves abuse. After all, the ground's not getting any softer.
The new Ford F-150. Strength after strength after strength.
Making it to the pros takes a certain level of excellence, the experience to get the job done right, and a reputation for quality. Like AC firing spark plugs from CarQuest. AC spark plugs heat fast and fire hot, improving your car's performance. AC gives you the spark you need all season long. So for the best possible performance, install what the pros install. CarQuest. Welcome to the pros.
I love movies. Always have. Ever since I was a kid. That's why I got Prime Star. With 95 channels, I get old movies, new movies, all kinds of movies. All in digital picture and sound. But I didn't have to buy the dish either. With Prime Star, there is no equipment to buy. It's all a part of the service. It all starts for about $1 a day. Life's short. Enjoy.
Call 1-800-PRIME-STAR.
In racing, there's no margin for error. The crew follows the same procedures every time the car pulls into the pits. It's the same way at Jiffy Lube. We follow the same strict procedures more than 50,000 times a day. It's your assurance that when you bring your car to Jiffy Lube, the job will be done right. And Jiffy Lube offers Pennzoil. Jiffy Lube, the world's most experienced oil changers. That's why if it doesn't say Jiffy Lube, it just isn't Jiffy Lube.
A good doctor, a loving dad. How did his daughter become Hollywood's most notorious madam?
Were you afraid of your own daughter? She's a good kid.
The Paul Fly Story, Wednesday.
The checkered flag on the side of this building has a Picasso-esque flavor, and no wonder. This is truly a state-of-the-art facility. Daytona, USA will open its doors this July with special emphasis on being an interactive experience. They expect over 700,000 fans the first year. It'll look at racing's glorious past and also look to the sport's future. And there you see it right out there on Speedway Boulevard. It's going to be some attraction. By the way, our overhead coverage is courtesy of the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes. Richard Daniels at the controls today. Also on board, our cameraman, Bob Rosedale. Great shots. Hey, tonight on CBS, it begins with 60 Minutes. One thing no one likes to do is think the unthinkable, and there's nothing more unthinkable than terrorists spraying an American city with anthrax or botulism. Could they do it? 60 Minutes tonight. That'll be followed by Sybil and Almost Perfect. Then it's the CBS Sunday movie, The Rockford Files. Godfather Knows Best, starring James Garner and Barbara Carrera. That's tonight. Oh, say, and today, this afternoon, coming up next, NCAA basketball on CBS. The Big Ten's leading scorer, that's Brian Evans, leading the Indiana Hoosiers against the Michigan Wolverines. Big Ten rivals meet Indiana versus Michigan. Next on CBS Sports. Next here at Daytona, more pit stops. We're at lap 139 of 200 to be run after a major altercation. Out here in turn number 2 has eliminated 3 other guys that were running that lead lap. And it reduces the number in the lead down to 21 cars.
Yes, we're getting ready to go back to green the next time around. You can see the lights are off the pace car. That means they'll get the green the next time around. Several cars, including Robert Presley and Bobby Labonte, have been made numerous pit stops during this caution. Jimmy Spencer is back in the pits. There we see him. He is one of the cars in the lead lap. But these accidents are reducing the numbers down that are in the lead lap.
$3.6 million at stake here this afternoon in the Daytona 500. 170. Oh, there's the remains of car number 90, Junie Donlevy's car. Junie Donlevy is in his 70s now.
Yeah, about 72.
And he is probably one of the most respected car owners this game has ever had.
I don't think there's any question about it, and certainly one of the nicest people in all the world.
I won a race for him in Columbia, South Carolina one night. Junie Donlevy, you would have thought it was the Daytona 500. I've never seen a man that enjoyed winning, and you can't say enough good things about Junie Donlevy. Everybody, I guess he's had just about everybody in race and drive for him one time or another. I think he's had like 30 drivers, Ned.
He had himself a very cushy chair, and he sat up on top of the caravan over there the other day and just looked out over the race, had himself a little nap, certainly deserving of it. Junie Donlevy's car out of this, and as we mentioned earlier, Junior Johnson not here this year.
Junie's car won at Dover, Delaware with Jody Ridley at the wheel in a Winston Cup race back in 1981.
Some guy named Hobbs drove for him once, too.
Oh, my.
Parked it in second turn. In the wall. Right, David?
Well, Buddy Baker said almost everybody drove for Judy Dunleavy, and he's right. I drove for Judy Dunleavy at Michigan in 1976, 20 years ago.
Right.
Had a huge spin coming up turn 4, spun right in the pit lane, and Judy thought I was great driving. I didn't like to tell him. That's the way it ended up. Back to you in racing, Ken.
All right. 140 laps complete as they go back to green with Elliott, Jarrett, Earnhardt, the top three. Mark Martin is in fourth. Ricky Craven, the sophomore, out of Newburgh, Maine, up into fifth spot. Kyle Petty into sixth. Ken Schrader, seventh. Musgrave, eighth. Ricky Rudd is ninth. And Rusty Wallace from dead last, up to 10th position. And he's already been in one scrape today and right back into the top 10.
Bill Elliott. He wants to go for the lead. Dale Earnhardt's coming with him.
Schrader looking high and low for place to run. And look at Jarrett carry the Ford up in front. That Quality Care Ford credit card back in front with Earnhardt right there in second.
Boy, what a great shot there. You could see Earnhardt's car gaining up on Jarrett as they start into turn 1. Look at this, 3 wide down in the middle of turn 1.
Ooh. That is close, and that is not good. Get out of there, Kyle. Get in single file or in double file.
Finds it.
Johnny Benson in the yellow car, number 30. He's the rookie in the race. The only rookie in the field this year.
He's running at 27th a lap down. There are 23 cars officially reported in the lead lap. 23 cars in the lead lap. That as of lap 141, 352.5 miles.
You know, Mark Martin said yesterday, I was talking to him in the garage area, he said this car probably won't show itself until about halfway. How right he was. You see him there in third spot right now. The car is very good in the corners.
To David Hobbs.
Well, I'm with Mike Wallace just at the hospital. You look okay. What happened?
You know, I really don't know what happened. We went down in there, the field stacked up on top, and I went to the bottom, and all of a sudden the car turned sideways. I mean, I don't know if I just got it loose, and then I gathered it back up, and it's like it blew a right rear tire or something. I really don't know what happened. I just know I wrecked, and unfortunately probably took 2 or 3 other good cars with us, and Alec Myers Ford Thunderbird was really running well today. We had a new sponsor on board with Klausner Furniture Industries, and it's a shame. You know, we ended up last year this way, and we really thought we had a good day going. We were just trying to be patient, and I guess I wasn't patient enough.
Well, there's another disappointed driver from the Daytona 500, Mike Wallace. Better luck next time, and good luck this year. Ken?
Candid and honest and straightforward, the middle of the Wallace brothers. Mike, out of this race.
Bill Elliott's trying to go up on the high side there. There's Rusty Wallace up high as well.
There's Ricky Craven down to the bottom in the 41. Craven started 36 in this race today.
Having a great run here now.
As we mentioned, Robert Presley has taken over from Waddell Wilson as crew chief. Ooh, Schrader almost into the back end of Bill Elliott there in the 94. And all of a sudden, Kyle Petty becomes a big factor. Oh, that's close. And one car driven on the pit road. That is Kenny Wallace wide open at 160. He got bumped coming down out of 4. And he does a duplicate, a replay of what his brother did. It looked like 97 squeezed him a little there. Whoa.
After some heads-up driving, he saw his brother do it here on Thursday in the 125-mile qualifiers.
And you know those brothers, anything you can do, I can do better. Boy. We'll take a look at a replay in a moment. Meanwhile, up in front, Earnhardt and Jarrett back at it again.
Dale and Dale show. And those fans are lovely.
The Dale and Dale show for the moment, but there's a lot of other ingredients just behind this.
You're right, buddy.
Take a look at this replay, folks, of what just happened up here in turn 4. That's Kenny Wallace in the 81. Just gets bumped, and he made the absolute right decision. Anything else would have been disaster.
It absolutely would. If he would have gotten on the grass, he would have had no control over the car. He just steered her right down pit road, kept his foot in the accelerator, and kept going. Let's go to the pits and David Hobbs.
Well, another victim of that crash is Loy Allen. Loy, what happened out there?
And I really don't know. A couple of cars in front of me got together, and we just kind of got pinned against the wall, and I couldn't get away. But
I can't say enough about this Health Source team. I think they showed some people they've got a car that can run, and we'll be back next time.
Pole position a couple of years ago, out of the race today, not too good.
No, but I think we showed some people as far as the team and everything that we've got a car that can run, and I think we're looking forward to the year that's coming up.
Okay, well, there's Loy Allen's story. Back to you, Ken.
And the story right now is that for the first time since lap 25, Earnhardt is leading in this Daytona 500, trying to win it for the first time. 28 wins at Daytona. He won the IROC. He won the 125s. Set on the pole. That kind of superficiality gets to you after a while. Who's that singer that says that? Hey, geez, he's won everything here, but he can't win this 500. Oh, what a shot. Here comes Jarrett back another time. Couldn't get through that one. I can't believe that Earnhardt can lose this.
There's Dahlin back on the inside in the white car, Lake Speed in the middle in the 9 car, and here's Ted Musgrave in car number 16. A lot of close racing there off turn 4.
Last lap at 188.4.
Just watching this, Kenny Schrader's looking to the outside, looking to the inside. He's got a very, very fast car, but right now he's afraid to move offline and maybe get caught out by himself. So he's going to look to the outside again as they go down the back straightaway. He may have found out something just a second ago about how good his car was on the high line.
Mark Martin's telemetry in 6th spot.
See what his speed is now that they are far in the race as he is. You can see those RPMs going up there to about 6750.
Now, Ned, we were showing like 191, 192, 193 earlier. All you could see there was like 187, so they've dropped off a little bit. As the tires get worn and you start sliding a little more in the corners, you scrub off more speed on the race car.
Yep, the track gets a little bit slicker and definitely makes a difference.
Engines get a little more life here than they will at a place like Rockingham, buddy.
Oh, boy, I tell you what. People that think that restrictor plate racing isn't good, just look at this. This has been a great race all day, side-by-side running. You see Kyle Petty there in the 42 on the outside. Look from 3rd place back. I mean, this is a dog fight.
They've taken what? When you look at those RPMs, there's about 3,000 there you use on other tracks that are not being used for these restrictors. Well, sure, it makes for great racing.
Well, you go all the way around this racetrack. The best car I ever had here, I only lost like 200 RPMs in the corner halfway through the race, and that was running wide open all the way around the racetrack, lap after lap after lap. And the only thing that dictated the speed differential was how much you slid in the corners.
Dick Berggren.
Dale Earnhardt has never been more committed to winning any single race than he is committed to winning this year's Daytona 500. He has tested over 3,000 miles since the conclusion of last season. They did 3 Daytona tests. Mike Skinner, the truck driver, 3 Daytona tests, a Talladega test, using 3 different drivers. Mike Skinner for today's race. He really wants to win this thing, Ken Squire.
Put it on the pole. There's an $83,000 bonus if he can win from the pole today. It's the 11th time that Chevy has started this race from that front position. And for Earnhardt, what a payoff if he can pull this one home.
I imagine Earnhardt would like to see another Chevrolet getting this mix up here. Those Fords are ganging up on him just behind him there. There's about 3 or 4 of them there that are really good race cars. And later on in the race, that might have something to do with the outcome.
Could very well have. Let's go back to the pits and David Hobbs.
Well, the 3rd player in that schmozzle up there in turn 2 and 3 was Brett Bodine. Boy, this is your first race as a team owner, and this week's not turned out too good.
Well, it really hasn't, but, we're not going to give up, David. Every time we had a misfortune and having to bring out another car, this team brought out a better car, and today we had a darn good one. This Lowe's Thunderbird was really running well. We started dead last, worked ourselves right up into the top 15, and the car was very comfortable. We just made a mistake on pit road and lost a lot of track position, and that's what got us back there where the trouble was on this particular accident.
Well, there's a very competent new team owner, Brett Bodine. Back to you, Ken.
For the lead, side by side, Jarrett in the 88. Earnhardt on the outside, but mixing it up now. Here comes the man from Dawsonville, Georgia.
Yeah, Bill Elliott pulled up behind Dale Jarrett and just gave him the push that he needed to go right on around Dale Earnhardt. And his buddy says those Fords sort of gaining up on Earnhardt there right now. You got Elliott, you got Mark Martin back there, and Jeff Burton is right behind him. Ken Schrader, he is in the mix there right behind Earnhardt now.
Reviewing the front of the field, Jarrett, Earnhardt, Elliott, Martin, Schrader, Kyle Petty, Ricky Craven, Ricky Rudd, Morgan Shepherd, all up here in this group and more.
This is incredible.
Incredible.
What is it?
The double supreme cheeseburger. It's new. Brand new.
Same kind of stuff as the Big Mac.
Yeah, but I like this better.
Oh, that's because Burger King flame broils them.
It's got a lot more beef. A lot more beef.
Gonna take all lunch hour to finish one.
The Burger King Double Supreme Cheeseburger. Less bread and 75% more beef than the Big Mac. And it's flame broiled, never fried. With fries and a drink, just $2.99.
Well, back to work. What's the rush?
Yeah. You don't think we're gonna be that busy, do you?
Let's get real here. Brakes stop your wheels, but tires stop your car. That's why Goodyear's newest AquaTread, the all-season AquaTread 2, has a deeper, wider aqua channel than the original AquaTread to sweep more water away for outstanding wet traction. And AquaTread 2 has high-tensile steel belts for puncture resistance. Think about it. Brakes stop your wheels, but tires stop your car. Get a set of AquaTreads. Only from Goodyear.
You see the NASCAR fan that is really committed.
They'll be sitting in the grandstands probably at 7 o'clock in the morning, even if it's pouring down raining.
They'll drive 6 hours to meet you for 2 minutes.
Well, the word I think that sticks out in my mind is loyal.
When they go to the grocery store, you know, they look for the products that sponsor race cars.
Loyalty is what a NASCAR fan is all about. NASCAR fans, it's true. You're the best in all of sports.
It's a simple concept. The bigger the hole, the easier air can flow through it. That's the idea behind Dynamax, the performance exhaust with the open airflow. Dynamax. Its patented open design maximizes your engine's full power potential, so you can really haul. Performance exhaust systems engineered by Walker. Dynamax.
It is one competitive Daytona 500. Two of the stories at the outset that were key to this race have already been resolved. Sterling Marlin had his problems. He's out. The story on the number 28, Ernie Irvin, he had problems. He will not be a factor to win and continue that great comeback he started. But Earnhardt is very much in the front of this race and trying to win it for the first time. Welcome aboard the Daytona 500 if you're just joining us and watching as Dale Jarrett, for the moment, has the lead. The Dale and Dale show has them in first and fourth position. Buddy Baker alongside Ned Jarrett. I'm Ken Squire, bringing you the spectacular action from this great racetrack.
Well, you could see that team effort from Ford just a second ago. They put Earnhardt back in fourth place there. Nose to tail going down the front straightaway, and Earnhardt right now has Schrader with him, so, man, you just can't even begin to speculate what's going to happen from here on, because those are very fast race cars. Every one that's in the top 25 there.
Here's Mike Joy.
One of the quietest teams all week is one of the fastest right now, Bill Elliott's. Mike Beam is crew chief. Looking pretty good right now. He looks pretty comfortable.
Yeah, he said it's pretty, it's pretty good. We'll see what happens here, because, when it gets down there, I wish it gets strung out a little bit. Our car's really good on old tires, he said, he took two there, and he said, I can't tell no difference. So, if we could just get strung out here and they run green, and we can stop there with a little bit of fuel, hopefully everything will go our way.
So it looked like he might have tipped his hand there just a little bit. Maybe they would only take on fuel. They only have one more pit stop to make. And earlier they did just change, on the green flag pit stop, just change the outside tires, and he still was able to run right there with them. So, hey, strategy is going to play a big part here when they have to make that last pit stop.
Elliott has said, I feel like I still have the ability and I can still do the job I need to do. The day I don't, the day I'm not going to be here. Right now, he's here. He's right up in front. fighting with Dale Jarrett for the lead. It's Ford against Ford, first and second in the 38th running of the 500. Just behind them, there you see Earnhardt, followed by Schrader, Martin in this group. Ricky Craven doing an outstanding job. Sophomore Jinx, not bothering him any.
Those 6 cars trying to pull away a little bit there. Elliott, Earnhardt goes under him. Right back up on Jarrett one more time, and here comes the Chevrolet of Schrader. So those Chevrolets hooked up that time, buddy, and made a pass.
Yeah, it's just kind of tag team right now. Everybody's got good race cars, and if you get to the outside, it looks like you're just in trouble because they make the move pretty easy. Look at Schrader's hands here through the corner. Very, very nice. The car is very stable. As he comes off the corner, you'll see him just straighten up a little bit to go down the straightaway. Up.
That is Bodine tagging Lake Speed, catching Jeff Purvis in the 44, the guy that won that race, the 200-miler a week ago. And it looks like Robert Presley's been caught as well.
Bobby Hamilton is involved in it. Chad Little,
Morgan Shepherd. Ooh. Big incident in turn 4. That'll be caution number 6 this afternoon. Up.
There's Morgan Shepherd.
Oh, Raymond car. That's his first time out in this ride. He's driven for them before. And there you see the 44 car, and there is Jeff Bodine.
Yep. Tough luck.
That kind of says it all.
Yep, new sponsor this year. Just got caught up in something not of his own making. I guess not. We'll take a look here and see what happened. But
replay. Watch the 7, bottom of the racetrack.
Well, they were trying to go 3 wide.
There by Bodine on the left rear corner.
Bodine goes all the way to the wall.
See Jeff Purvis there spinning in the 44.
Chad Little in the 97. Sterling Cowboy is just along for the ride at that point, getting taken to the wall. That looks like Bobby Hamilton
it is.
There, down pit road.
Yep. Spinning.
Or Robert Presley. Morgan Shepherd's car getting collected just on the end of that wreck. Got a low angle look from inside turn 4 here, buddy, that give you a pretty good idea what happened.
Wow. Ooh. Jeff Bodine hit very hard on the outside wall. He gets into Chad Little there. See Jeff Purvis in the 44 car spinning round and round as he's coming at the camera. There's a car of Richard Petty, Bobby Hamilton driving it. He's spinning down through the grass.
Chad Little was in 23rd when that incident happened. Here's pit road, getting big activity. This is on lap 160.
Yeah, it should be their last pit stop, and they're certainly making on fuel as far as that is concerned. Let's go to the pits and Dick Berggren.
Earnhardt, a very cool move. He took only 2 tires, just the outside tires, gas, and he's gone. Mike Joy.
Bill Elliott gets 4 tires, so does Jeremy Mayfield, and Ricky Rudd told his crew he needed 4 tires to make it all the way. These drivers will lose track position, but they'll be set to go the distance. Ken?
100 miles left in this one. Ooh. Off the jack, number 94, away. Bill Elliott. Jarrett, Earnhardt, Elliott, Schrader, Martin, all among these top group. It'll be interesting to see where Ricky Craven comes out. He's up there in those top 6. Apparently everybody okay from this latest wreck up here in Calamity Corner, number 4, David Hobbs.
Well, I'm with Chad Little, who was involved in that deal in the front oval here. 27th position at the time, and you just squeaked in the other day when we spoke to you. Tough day.
Yeah, it's a shame, darn it. You know, I thought we were running pretty good. The guys told me we were up to almost the top 10, and you know, the car was really handling good. I wasn't having a problem driving high or low, and it's just it's unfortunate for Sterling Cowboy. It was their first race, and it's just, you know, you saw how tight it was out there for so many laps in a row, and it's just someone got together right in front of me, and then it was just a melee.
So there you have it from Chad Little across the grass here on the Tri-Oval. Back to you, Ken.
Tough one for Chad Little. Great racer out of Spokane, representing the Northwest so well. But his day is over in the 500. But there's still 100 miles to be traveled.
My daughter used to think fish just came from the supermarket.
You know, my son used to wait for rainbows, but now we go looking for them.
know they learn all about the world in school, but now we can show it to them.
Isn't it amazing how opening one door can open up so many others? Ford Explorer, because the world's too big to be left unexplored.
You don't ever drop your guard here at Daytona. You come here for the speed, 195 mile an hour plus. It's intimidating. That's my kind of race. That's the kind of race I like. I've won here, I've lost here, has so many memories. You know, you just get too comfortable with it, it'll bite you in a minute. The track demands respect.
Busch Beer is proud to bring you the great tracks of NASCAR, now featuring the Daytona International Speedway.
It's the track.
I know just about every garage in town. I guess I ought to know them all. More professionals use Napa parts than any other. That's because they can't afford to put in the same part twice. Just look at the signs. When did you see anything but we install Napa parts? Dan here liked us so much, he became a Napa Auto Care Center. Yep, everybody loves Napa. Of course, some say it's the hat. I think it's my good looks.
We keep America running.
There's a fine line of motor oil separating your car's engine parts that's as little as 1/1000th of an inch. But friction and heat can make motor oil become volatile and vaporize, weakening its ability to protect expensive parts. Texaco Haviland Formula 3 is formulated to control volatility, fight vaporization, and provide complete engine protection, no matter what you drive.
Add more life to your car. Take it to the star.
This race summary is sponsored by Texaco Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Controls volatility and fights vaporization.
We have tied a record. It goes back to 1974. 15 different leaders in the race. Lead change is 28. Been a lot more than that in some previous races. 403 miles down. 6 cautions for 21 laps, and 7 cars have officially pulled out of this race. Dick Trickle is gone, Jeff Gordon, Derek Cope, Marlin, Andretti, Allen, Mike Wallace, and probably at least 2 and perhaps 3 from this latest incident. But we'll wait for NASCAR to tell us they've officially pulled out of the race before we say anything.
Okay, let's take a look at this accident, the latest one coming off of turn 4. See right there are the cars that's involved. Here's Bodine down on the inside, and there is Lake Speed. As Bodine comes off, we'll move it forward, and we'll see that Speed comes down a little bit, Bodine goes up a little bit, they make contact, Speed goes around to the inside, Bodine slams the outside retaining wall and collects the car 44 of Jeff Purvis, the 97 of Chad Little, and the 43 car of Bobby Hamilton spins down on the inside.
You're riding with Darrell Waltrip as he comes down. Now this tells you why these guys get into trouble. You can see, you can't see, they can't either. There's no way you can miss anything if somebody was right there.
Waltrip riding in 16th position in the lead lap. Remember, he's come from 40th today. He borrowed an engine from Morgan McClure after he'd had some problems all week long. Doing well right now. And the man out in front is Ricky Craven. The Larry Hedrick, number 41, made his pit stop, and he is now leading in this event. But are we going to be set up for another Dale and Dale shootout at the end of this as we were in 1993?
Well, now, they reported Earnhardt only took on 2 tires.
Did we say 5 cars had a shot at it? Get ready, because it's coming to the wire. There's Jarrett in front.
Jarrett pulling back in front. Bodine comes down to the inside. Jeff Bodine, the 86 champion, trying to find some run.
Come on, Dale. Go, baby, go. All right, come on. I know he's got it to the floorboard. He can't do any more. Come on, take her to the inside. Don't let him get on the inside of you coming around this turn. Here he comes, Earnhardt. It's the Dale and Dale show. It's become off of turn 4. You know who I'm pulling for. It's Dale Jarrett. Bring her to the inside, Dale. Don't let him get down there. He's going to make it. Dale Jarrett's going to win the Daytona 500. All right. Oh, look at Martha. Oh, dear. Oh, can you believe it? Way to go. Oh, hey, man.
Where'd you got Martha?
Drive that race car. Oh, man.
Where have you got Martha today?
Well, Martha is, she should be back in North Carolina now. She and our daughter Patty left with the twins this morning. We're driving back home this morning. The twins were a little bit sick, so she's not here.
Okay.
40th anniversary, huh, Jarrett?
Today. Yep. I'll tell you, it's amazing she put up with me that long, isn't it?
You know, that's the 10th time I've seen you do that, and every time I wonder if he's actually going to win.
All right, let's go to David Hobbs.
Well, it's no laughing matter, really. I'm down with Morgan Shepherd. Boy, you were having a good run the other day and a good run today, and you got involved in that thing on the front.
Well, the Remington Thunderbird was good sometimes, and sometimes it wasn't. We had just developed a bad pushing problem, and that's the reason I had backed up then. And then a couple cars got together up in front of us, and just a victim of circumstances. That's restrictor plate racing. I'll be glad when we get to the unrestricted tracks.
Morgan Shepherd's going to be back again this year in a big time, right?
Yeah, boy.
There you go, Dick Berggren.
Well, virtually everybody took on 4 tires with the exception of Richard Childress for Dale Earnhardt. How come 2?
Well, you know, some of those cars had taken only 2 the time before, and we only had 20 laps on our lefts, and they'd been looking real good, so we wanted to get some track position and go. You know, it was a team decision.
Okay, Mike Joy.
Bud Moore likes to gamble. He likes to roll dice, play poker. You didn't want this caution because you were going to gamble and go all the way?
Well, you know, we had 61 laps to run, so we stopped on the last caution and topped off, which there wasn't a couple of 3 of us did, so we were taking a shot at it. We had run 58 laps on 21.2 gallons of gasoline, so we was going to gamble, I'll tell you that. So if they'd have stopped, we was going to go the rest of the way, I'll put it that way.
So Bud Moore's car with Wally Donovac, Dale Earnhardt, and Jimmy Spencer took on 2 tires only under this caution. Ken?
Bud Moore's car is now running in 12th position. And the surprise, Ricky Craven from Newburgh, Maine, in the Larry Hedrick car, took on fuel only, no tires, and he's leading in his sophomore year here in this Daytona 500. Ricky Craven had said that he's been in a learning mode. Everything that he's done for 10 years back up in New England was valuable, but none of it prepared him for the type of racing they do at Daytona or in Michigan. He said the closest thing I've been to those places was a TV set, but I think we're going to get along pretty well, and I think I have a good reputation for not carrying up much equipment. Indeed, he did have that kind of a reputation in New England. We'll see what he's going to do here. He's got a lot of people that says that he has a great future. Felix Sabetis has said that Ricky Craven is one of the real comers in this sport. It may take a couple of years. Let's see what he's going to do right now with that giant behind him, Dale Earnhardt. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Ken, the one thing Ricky Craven did bring down here from his New England racing experience was the value of hard work, and his team has worked their brains out at the Daytona 500. They have worked on engines all week long. They finally put together a deal for a Hendrick engine. That is what is under the hood right now, powering that car in the front of the pack.
See what he's going to do.
Well, those Hendrick engines are strong, no doubt about that. Let's establish the fact that some of those cars that were involved, Jeff Purvis is back out there. Brett Bodine, who was involved in one of the other accidents, he's back out there now in his car trying to make some laps. So not all of those that were involved in the last couple of accidents have gone to the garage area.
Getting ready to wave green. Get this one underway. Ricky Craven has said he's running this 500 for Travis Roy, one of his great friends, a fine young hockey player, was injured in his very first game playing for Boston University. And Craven has carried those colors right up into the front as we get ready for the final moments of this 1996 38th annual Daytona 500, and Craven pulls him by a couple of car lengths. The him, of course, in capital letters, Earnhardt.
And the third place car there is Michael Waltrip. We saw the damage on his Ford a little bit earlier. They worked on it a lot, but he's right up there now. But I don't know, Buddy, if he can hang on with all that damage that he has to the car.
The only chance he has, Ned, is to get very close in the draft and try to tuck up under somebody, because he has a lot of aerodynamic damage to the right front, as you can see as he comes off turn 4 there.
Look at Jarrett. Look to the inside of Johnny Benson running a lap down. Johnny Benson in that Bahari number 30 in the middle of that and sporting his way through on the bottom. Here comes Jarrett again. Meanwhile, up in front for the lead, Craven on the bottom. To the top comes Earnhardt.
I think Craven's going to let Earnhardt go and try to draft him, and Michael Waltrip goes very high around the outside of Craven. Jarrett sort of got caught down on the inside. Thought he had a run there to get him up to second. Didn't quite work.
Well, Ned, this is the test. We'll know whether the 21 can actually get through the air clean right now. He looks like he has a lot of straightaway speed there. You see there, 3 wide going into turn 3 right at the moment.
And Jarrett making the move. What a great move under Craven going into 3.
He was down on the apron.
Get the smelling salts for Ned. Whoa.
Let's give a call for Rusty Wallace. He's sitting right there in contention right now. He has to feel like this is a major victory for him in the past 3 or 4 years. Nothing but trouble here at Daytona, but he's up front now.
43rd position up into 4th. He took the handrail on the outside and pulled himself up through this field. But here comes Jarrett back underneath him another time.
Jarrett's car is so strong coming off of turn 2. Here comes Craven down on the inside.
Craven coming back.
There's Jarrett trying to take the measure of Michael Waltrip.
Do not adjust your set. Do not go away. Hold on to that couch. This is going to be some finish.
See Ricky Craven there trying to get by Michael Waltrip in the 21 car, and does so.
167 of 200 laps are complete. Craven puts it back in again to 3rd spot. Schrader pulls up on the inside. And Earnhardt out in front.
See Kenny Schrader in the Budweiser car on the outside. He has a very strong car. He's running right by himself and actually making a move into 3rd place.
Earnhardt has stolen the Buddy Baker line, and he has said down here, hey, I've won the Daytona 499 lots of times. Here's David Hobbs.
Jeff Bodine, it seemed like you and Lake Speed got together coming up turn 4. What happened?
Let me check my teeth. That hit hard. It jarred my teeth pretty bad. That was a hard hit. It got jammed up coming off turn 4, and I think Lake slid over in front of me. I couldn't stop, couldn't slow down quick enough. Tapped him and caused a hell of a wreck. The only good thing about wrecking this time of the race is you get to beat the traffic home, but I'll tell you, I'd rather be right in the traffic out there on the track. You know, I feel bad for QVC, our brand new sponsor this year. We wanted to do well. It was exciting out there for them. I know we've made them race fans, and we'll be back next week, of course, with a different car, but it's going to be a good year for us. Not a good way to start out, but all you QVC fans, don't worry, we're going to get rolling next week. And call in, remember, I need a new car. You got to buy some stuff so I can pay for this.
Oh, my heart, there he goes again.
Jeff Bodine using the David Hobbs philosophy at Le Mans. Always get home by dinner. Tough to see you go, Jeff. Back to you, Ken.
Take a look at that move by the Wood brothers, number 21. That was some piece of driving by Michael Waltrip, and he's up into 2nd place.
I tell you what, if I was the Wood brothers, the next car that I built, I would bend the front end up just like that, because that car is really strong.
Well, here comes Jarrett back on the inside once again. Michael was able to get a run when Ken Schrader run up on the outside of Jarrett, and now Schrader's up on the outside of Earnhardt.
The one thing I've noticed, Ned, is that Kenny Schrader's strong enough to make his move without a great deal of help from anybody. He passed 2 or 3 cars to get himself in the 2nd place here, but Earnhardt's another case here. You see that Dale Jarrett is running right under Earnhardt's back there. We'll just have to see who really has the muscle now.
Well, you wonder if that's high groove might be coming in a little bit here now. Most of them have been running the low groove up to this point.
That's a great point, and that's where Wallace worked his way up through. That's where Schrader's working now.
Mark Martin helping Schrader to try to get by Earnhardt as they go down into turn 1.
Well, there's the interval, and you're looking at the interval from 1st back to about 20th. Here's Mike Joy.
Ken, a deal was made during the caution flag. Dale Jarrett, Kenny Schrader, and Mark Martin agreed on the radio they would work together. Jarrett threw the deal out the window as soon as they dropped the green, but Schrader and Martin have hung together and gotten to the front that way, Ken.
Schrader and Martin are definitely there. And now it's Schrader just in front of Jarrett, a brother of Earnhardt, and then Jarrett back there in 3rd. Jeff Burton's a factor again.
I get here early to stock up on Texaco Haviland Formula 3 motor oil because it gives my engine complete protection.
Me too.
Michael Andretti.
Texaco Haviland Formula 3 is formulated to control volatility and fight vaporization. And it's the same oil used by championship racing teams.
Empty.
Tough track, huh?
Take it to the star.
When it comes to endurance racing, there's nothing like the Baja. 1,000 miles of dust, heat, and terrain so rough it can shake a truck to pieces. which makes the Baja the perfect place to prove just how tough the Duralast battery really is. So the next time you hit the open road, don't settle for anything less, because the battery that ran the Baja is the same Duralast battery you can depend on to start your truck. And it's the one we stock at AutoZone. The Duralast battery. Power you can depend on.
In their moment, for their time. Olympic athletes are the most photographed people on Earth. And for 100 years, more of those pictures have been captured on Kodak film than any other. Kodak. What film is in your camera?
Your best bet is a Best Western. Call 1-800-528-1234 or your travel agent.
Relive the Great American Race in this CBS Sports home video. Daytona, drama, danger, dedication. To order by credit card, call now. 1-800-999-VIDEO. Daytona, drama, danger, dedication. Only $19.98. Plus $3 shipping and handling.
Dale Earnhardt taking the lead another time here in the Daytona 500 with 172, now more than that. 25 laps to go, they say. 175 complete. Okay.
Ooh, boy, some close racing in there.
Look at Wally Dallenbach in the 15 car. He's moved into third place. The front end's all taped up, but he is driving his heart out now. Several of these cars have nose damage, but they're really running well. You can see the tape flapping there on Dallenbach's number 15.
Ooh, look at him look to the inside. Dale Jarrett, the 93 winner, right there behind Earnhardt. Earnhardt said at the outset of the program he was driving this race, focusing on this. I believe he said a cousin in his family had passed away. And, of course, a couple of years ago, he came out here and drove so hard trying to put Neil Bonnet's death on this track into focus. Trying to move at a speed to replace loss. Ooh, that is Earnhardt. And that's his nature.
Here's Jarrett going on the high side of Earnhardt. He started to dip low, buddy, and Earnhardt blocked him off, so he decided to go to the high side.
Yeah, he's got some help, too. Dallenbach is moving in on the outside there. If they stick together, that's two Fords, and you see Dallenbach moving up on the back of Dale Jarrett. Dale moved over just as he got there.
And moves back.
I think he realized what he had just done and moved back over to help Dallenbach again.
Yep.
What a great drive by Wally Dallenbach in second place now.
He doesn't have that much experience in drafting. He has a couple of years' experience in Winston Cup racing, but not drafting up front. He's doing a great job.
And he came out of such mixed reviews and poor reviews. Everything for him counts in this race. Look at that 3 wide.
3 wide. Bill Elliott right in the middle of this. He's not checking up. He says it's time to go now. I don't have time to play.
No, you can't back off now. If you back off these restrictor plate engines, you'll be in the back of the pack or either wrecked.
There's that 99 of Jeff Burton. He had fought himself up to... They keep swapping positions so dramatically, so quickly, but he's a factor in this thing. He was in 4th, then in 7th, now in 11th. And Dallenbach to 3rd. That is perhaps the story of the day.
I think the story of the day is how fast Dale Earnhardt can come back to the forefront of everything that's going on the racetrack. He's moved back into second by Wally Dallenbach, and they were in a tight groove draft there. So don't count out Earnhardt. He is really getting around this racetrack. Look at this, 2 by 2 down the front straightaway.
And Jeremy Mayfield back to 6 on the inside, and Kelly Yarborough's number 98. We haven't given him a call for a while, but he's there knocking on the door with Mark Martin up on the outside. 6th and 7th there. Mayfield, the RCA car, giving you these pictures as he pulls up to take another shot at Schrader. Hey, folks, we've got 20 cars in this lead pack as they get ready to decide it. Jarrett and Earnhardt would like to work away from this field and decide it as they did in 93 between themselves. These folks, they've got to say about this, too.
Yeah, there's lots of cars that's going to have a say about this. Now some of them get single file back there that were doing some of that side-by-side racing. They knew that wasn't going to work for them because Earnhardt and Jarrett would get away.
That's Jeremy Mayfield. He got it back.
Wow.
He gathered it up, but it has been hit, and he's got to ease it back through the field. He can't stand it to stay there now. He took a really hard hit. Purvis around on the outside. Craven coming back.
That probably looked like just a rub along the wall there, but 9 out of 10 times when you hit that hard, it knocks the toe end off the car, and it does not drive good from then on.
Dale Jarrett back into the lead. Quality Care car stays right up in front, and here comes Earnhardt after him once again. Good wrench colors right there. Putting a lap on Ernie Irvan. His comeback story ended early today. He's still out there.
Earnhardt moving up, Dallenbach moves up. They're trying little moves right now for later on. They're just getting the feel of what they have to do. You see, Earnhardt kind of got rid of Dallenbach just a little bit from the center of the corner back to the straightaway.
Mike Joy.
They'll put right side tires on Jeremy Mayfield's Ford and also pull out the fenders from that little brush with the wall. The left side is fine. No serious damage, no extra tools over the wall. Burkhardt and Allen hammer those tires home, and Mayfield is away, but he'll almost certainly go down a lap.
Wally Dallenbach tucked on the inside of the straight or outside. A great racing family. His dad was one of the best stock car guys we've ever seen. Kid looks good today.
He's in trouble. He's hung out to dry.
You don't ever drop your guard here at Daytona. You come here for the speed. 195 mile an hour plus. It's intimidating. That's my kind of race. That's the kind of race I like. I've won here. I've lost here. Had so many memories. You know, you just get too comfortable with it, it'll bite you in a minute. The track demands respect.
Busch Beer is proud to bring you the great tracks of NASCAR, now featuring the Daytona International Speedway.
It's the track.
You're on CBS.
Excuse me? That's better. Excuse me? That's better. Excuse me? Excuse me. There's nothing better than a steak from Winn-Dixie.
Life is surprising. Sometimes you get more than you'd expect. And sometimes you need more than you'd expect. That's why SunTrust is introducing first-rate savings, an account that pays, well, more than you'd expect. Hurry. Offer ends February 23rd.
See the cars and stars of the United Speed Alliance in the $75,000 Hooter 8200 for the Hooters Cup late models on March 1st and 2nd at DeSoto Speedway in Bradenton. See Mario Gosselin, Mike Garvey, Dick Anderson, Darrell Shellnutt, Hal Goodson, Jimmy Cope, Jody Ridley, and the best of the rest battle it out on the 3/8 mile high bank paved oval, along with the Hooters Cup late models in the Hooter 8200. Also see the Sarah Modifieds and the Jackaroo Sportsman cars. That's the Hooter 8200 for the Hooters Cup late models March 1st and 2nd at DeSoto Speedway in Bradenton. Be there!
Surviving a Robbery, Monday on 10 News at 6.
CBS Sports presentation of the Daytona 500 is sponsored by Goodyear, #1 in tires. Busch Beer, now featuring the Daytona International Speedway Collector Can. And by the all-new Ford F-150, strength after strength after strength.
Our thanks to the captain and crew of the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes for today's overhead pictures. Watch for the blimp in a couple of weeks at the Doral Ryder Open, right here on CBS Sports. Well, unless there's a caution or something untoward, we're going to stay right with you to the finish of this one. We're at lap 184 of 200. It's decision time in the Great American Race. Dale Jarrett is in front. Dale Earnhardt is in second. Ken Schrader is in third. And Michael Waltrip, with a bruised nose, and the Wood Brothers car has put it right back into fourth. Mark Martin is in fifth. What a race this has turned out to be. Here's Michael Waltrip. You see the 21. The last time they won here, well, the last time was Pearson. And then, of course, they won in 72 with A.J. A.J. Foyt gave him a whale of a ride, and Cale and Tiny in the past. So they're in it right for the finish, as is Mark Martin. But look at Jarrett up in front. And here is Bill Elliott side by side with Ricky Craven as we get down toward the finish. Elliott and Craven back there in 11th position. Ricky Rudd with them there in his 18th performance in this 500. The sophomore up on the outside from New England. Ricky Craven giving just a great performance this afternoon. And you see Lake Speed, the number 9. He's stuck it out all afternoon. He's holding on to 14th, right behind Ricky Rudd, 13th. Dave Marcus is in 15th. Rusty Wallace has fallen to 16th, and Darrell Waltrip has gone back behind the wall. While we were in that last commercial break, old DW, who've been running right up here in the thick of it, took that number 17 back to the garage area. Schrader, third spot.
Ken, it looked like a Congo line going down the back straightaway there. Every time Earnhardt goes somewhere, they go with him, but Dale Jarrett right now is running a perfect race. He's not giving them any way around the racetrack that's a faster groove to make a move on him right at the moment.
Well, right now they're running faster with him pulling than they were when Earnhardt was out front, so I'm sure Earnhardt's sort of where he wants to be. Let's go to the pits and Mike Joy.
Ray Evernham's an interested spectator in the Kenny Schrader pit. Is there a Chevrolet deal in the making? You got two Chevys up front and, of course, that one blue Ford.
Well, we hope the red Chevy's the one that can get it done. This new Budweiser crew's been doing a great job all day. I can't tell you how proud I am of them. You know, to see Kenny Schrader back up front. Unfortunately, we couldn't get it done with the 24 or the 5, and maybe the 25's going to bring it home for us.
My question to you is, have the Chevy teams made a deal to try to get away?
Well, we're going to try and get into first and second, but then all deals are off after that.
Okay, Ray Evernham, Jeff.
Can't take your eyes off the front of this one, folks. Dale Jarrett is giving it everything, excuse me, Ned, but
Earnhardt
just fighting his way through every corner.
He is, and Earnhardt tried to make a move coming off the turn 4, thinking that Schrader might go with him, but they just simply couldn't muster enough speed to pull up alongside Jarrett. But they're testing, like Buddy said a moment ago, they're looking at if he has a weakness, where it might be.
There you see Richard Childress looking on. Richard Childress in 1981 gave you the first view from an onboard camera in this race. Back when he was a racer and he was a good one.
You can see Ted Musgraves that joined the top group here in the number 16 car of Jack Roush. He's moved right in behind Wally Dallenbach, and just behind them there's some serious competition. If they get the right moves right now, we could have a 15-car shootout just as well as a 7 or 8.
Get ready for 10 laps to go, folks. Here's Mike Joy.
Ken, there may be no deal. Richard Childress said he didn't think the 25 car Schrader would go with them. He's not confident that he's got a drafting partner.
Wow. Well, it's going to be interesting. A little bit nervous for a dad standing up here in the booth and watching this thing play out. But I'm happy he's in that position to be, a part of the play out.
He holds him again. No one can block better than Earnhardt, but Jarrett's certainly giving it a good shot right now.
If I were in the situation leading this race right now, I would not show my best line right up to the last lap, and then I would have an ace in the hole. I would try something, and if I see that I could gain a car length going in the corner, car length coming off, that would be my move on the last lap.
To Dick Berggren.
Well, Richard Childress, we're getting right on down to it. What you going to do?
Well, it's up to Dale now. We got the best man in the business in there, and we wanted to be there in this situation, so it's all up to him now. It depends on who goes with who, and it's going to get interesting, I can tell you that.
What would you like to see him do?
And I don't know right now. I kind of believe I'd like to see him out front, but we're going to let him make that call.
Okay, Ken Squire.
Dale Jarrett, who's proven over and over again he's his own man, stays just barely in front of Dale Earnhardt. And Schrader there is the spoiler for the moment.
Ken, Ned, there's not 7 cars involved now. Look at this group. That second group is caught up now. They're racing side by side, which will allow people to get by. You see Bill Elliott trying on the bottom with Jeff Burton there, trying to get by, to get up in that drafting position.
That 4-car draft on the bottom could make a difference here. Led by Jeff Burton in the 99. Right behind him, Bill Elliott. Ricky Rudd tailing along with... Oh,
Wally Dahlin back in a tight situation there.
Almost took Musgrave into the wall. That is close. There's the interval. That's 0.129 seconds. Look at that.
There's the Jarrett family. Glenn over there.
Boy.
Kelly and the kids jumping up and down. Kelly's Dale's wife.
Zachary's already been in Victory Lane this week. He was there for the Busch Clash. He's a real pro, that Zachary. Huh?
He's a ham.
Yeah, I like him a lot. He's cool. Zachary's 15 months old over here watching his father lead this race.
You see Bill Elliott.
Ooh, look at Martin come to the inside. Slamming and bamming.
Yeah, it's time. They got to start positioning themselves now. They got to go.
You see Michael Waltrip there caught on the outside. Jeff Burton moves right by him on the bottom side, or trying to. He's fighting back on the outside. That's killing them right now. They need to be in line if they plan to catch these 2 cars that we're looking at now.
How do you think it's going to go? First to second, second to first, right there on the screen. As Jarrett and Earnhardt, the Dale and Dale show, get ready to decide this $3,600,000 race. It's coming down to another Daytona shootout. Schrader on the inside tries to sneak a peek and come through. Mark Martin is up to 4th. A quick note from Dick Berggren.
Todd Parrott is Dale Jarrett's crew chief. We're getting on down to it. What you going to do, Todd?
Hopefully he can hold on and stay out front of those Chevrolets that's behind him. You know, he's drove a heck of a race all day long. We've had a good week here at Daytona, so, you know, we're just going to take what we can get. Right now it's looking pretty good, but he's got some awfully strong cars behind him.
He sure does, Ken Squire.
This is the kind of race you dream about winning. 7, 8, 12 cars in the draft all day, out to 20. Richard Childress, who wanted so much to win this himself. He's won it as an owner.
This is a race just like you say. When you're born, if you want to be a race car driver, you dream of the day. You're leading the Daytona 500, fighting Dale Earnhardt, Kenny Schrader, Mark Martin as they come down.
That's Glenn Jarrett, Dale's older brother.
5 to go. And still Dale Jarrett with that 1-car length advantage.
But he's got to be sitting there wondering how much those Chevrolets have left and when are they going to strike.
And what about Mark Martin back there in the number 6? He's been knocking them down like bowling pins for a while. Schrader having such a great race. His crew looking on, anxious here. Mike Joy.
2 things we just heard on the scanner, Ken. One driver in that top pack just said there's going to be a huge fist fight after this. Tempers are flaring. Another Ford driver just asked his team owner if he could help one of those Chevrolets win this race. What would happen, Ken?
Politics coming into play.
Pressure's on.
When it gets right down to it on that last lap or the last lap or 2, I don't think it matters whether it's a Ford or a Chevrolet or whatever it is. Every one of those drivers wants to win the Daytona 500.
Well, the only team cars I see out there is the number 6 of Mark Martin, and right behind him is Jeff Burton. The rest of them, they're out there on their own right now. But I'll be honest with you, right now it looks like the first 2 cars, it's going to be tough to come from where they're at and win this race.
Kyle Petty back in 18th, goes a lap down.
Earnhardt looks to the inside. Doesn't work.
So does Dale Jarrett.
Well, take your choice, folks. This is it. It's the Dale and Dale show once again. Ford is out in front. Chevy is in second. 18 years of trying for Earnhardt. He's there. He's in front. He'll use anything he's got to take this one out of the fire. Jarrett, very much his own man. Ed Jarrett has said that Dale Jarrett, his son, is a much better race driver than he ever dreamed of being because he's such a great athlete. He's taken a lot of bad with the good because of his name. But he's proven he's his own man. Here comes Earnhardt on the outside.
2 laps to go.
And Schrader, all that trouble last year, time after time, engines erupting, the terrible crash at Talladega, and he kept on coming back. And here he is riding in third. Is there enough in that 25 to pull the upset? And Mark Martin has fought his way from 18th back into the top 4.
Ken, we've seen 4 abreast racing here all week long in practice. It may come down to that on the last lap. You never know.
They are getting tight. Elliott coming up on the outside. He wants to get in the thick of this thing. Here they come for the white flag one more time.
1 to go. How about it, Ned? See if he can bring him home.
Well, he's got to do what he's been doing, block them all the way. That Ford is running awfully good. And like I told you in 1993, Dale, keep her down on the inside. Don't let him get down there, but he might try to come up on the outside coming off the turn. Here it is, the Dale and Dale show once again here at Daytona. Earnhardt trying to make move. Look at him switch back and forth. Jarrett blocks him one more time. Here comes Earnhardt to the inside, but he can't make the move. And the Chevrolets race each other back there. Jarrett hanging on down on the inside. Come on, Dale. Put it in the middle, buddy. Do all you can. Winning 2 Daytona 500s would be too much. Here he comes to the line, and Dale Jarrett is going to pull it off at Daytona, his second Daytona 500 win. Wow. Man, it was almost as good as it was the first time.
Oh, that is unbelievable.
I really didn't think he could hold them all.
What a heartbreak for Earnhardt. What a great victory for Jarrett. He's done it for the second time in the 38th running of the great American race. Put the name Jarrett at the top of the list. Dale Jarrett's done it. We're going to meet him in a moment. A dramatic finish today. Earnhardt gave it everything he had, threw everything he had at that number 88. But when it was over, the Robert Yates car has won. And there's Zachary, a little concerned.
Oh, Zachary, you don't know what's going on.
We'll see you in a minute, Zachary, with your dad. The Daytona 500, it's history, and it's great history. Some of the best racing history you'll ever see, right here on CBS.
Let's get real here. Brakes stop your wheels, but tires stop your car. That's why Goodyear's newest AquaTread, the all-season AquaTread 2, has a deeper, wider aqua channel than the original AquaTread to sweep more water away for outstanding wet traction. And AquaTread 2 has high-tensile steel belts for puncture resistance. Think about it. Brakes stop your wheels, but tires stop your car. Get a set of AquaTreads. Only from Goodyear.
For cars that can benefit from higher octane...
Frank, we're late.
Texaco Clean System 3 Power Plus and Power Premium are formulated to clean your engine's intake valves, fuel injectors, and combustion chambers while you're driving. For smooth starts and sure acceleration. Just give us 5 tanks, and we think you'll see a difference. A word of advice, though. Maybe you'd better leave the windows rolled up.
Add more life to your car. Take it to the star.
Put 700 of the world's most powerful horses together, and what do you get? You get out of the way. The Budweiser Ken Schrader stock car. See you at the races.
The loads are getting heavier, and the stumps are just getting more stubborn. You're working harder than ever. You need a truck that does too. Meet the all-new 1997 Ford F-150. Our new Triton V8 cranks out even more power and torque. Our V6 out-muscles every standard truck engine in its class. And the first scheduled tune-up's 100,000 miles away. After all, the road's not getting any shorter. The new Ford F-150. Strength after strength after strength.
It's the best ride in racing. That ride at the end of 500 miles to the one place everyone wants to be, Victory Lane. Victory Lane today at the Daytona International Speedway for Dale Jarrett. Look at this finish one more time. Earnhardt, the man in black, gave him everything he could throw at him. And it was Jarrett for his second 500 win. To Victory Lane with the winner, the champion of the great American race, Dale Jarrett.
He can't get those belts unbuckled fast enough to jump out of here. For the second time, Dale Jarrett has driven a Robert Yates car to victory here in the Daytona 500. Ankle cuff coming off, and here he comes out of the car for the second time. Dale, those Chevrolets threw everything they had at you, and you held them off. How did you do it?
They didn't have a Robert and Doug Yates engine. That's the whole key. The chassis was great. I mean, I was running wide open, but tell you, down the straightaway, I could pull away a little bit. And I was worried about them getting a run, but I knew that Robert and Doug and all the guys in the engine shop had given me as good engine as anybody out here, and that was the key.
The car was strong all day, but it was a dogfight out there in the traffic.
It was that, yeah. And after the first time we changed tires, we made a slight adjustment, and well, we really got the car off a lot, and it really hurt there for a minute, but we got it back adjusted, and things were good, but I just had to bide my time there for a while.
Dale, if you'll hop down here for a second, there's a voice I need to put in your ear. There's a very proud papa sitting up there, up in the CBS announce booth. Go ahead, Ned.
Let him give Dale a super job there. You know, I never had any doubt but what you could drive a race car, but you have flat proven it to me here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Dad. I tell you, I had a great race car, and that's what you have to do is have a good race car here, and appreciate everything you've done for me, and just want to thank everybody involved here, and thank God for a safe day. I know we had some accidents, but want to thank God. He's the one that made all this possible for all of us, and we just appreciate it. And thanks for you always being there.
Well, I'll enjoy your victory. Kelly comes up there in Victor Lane. Enjoy it. We'll see you in a little while.
Let's go to Dick Berggren back at the gas pumps.
And I'm with Dale Earnhardt. It seems hard to believe another disappointment in the Daytona 500.
Well, that's Daytona 500. We finished second again. It's not a problem. We had a real good race car today. We just didn't have anything to match him forward. So, you know, we'll take second and go on and congratulate them. They did a good job, I reckon.
Tell us about that last lap, moving up and down, side to side.
Well, I was trying to get a run on him, but he was too strong. He just kept pulling out there, and I just was trying to do all I could do. That's all you can do.
To David Hobbs.
Kenny Schrader third, but boy, oh boy, that was a real close third. We thought you were going to help Dale Earnhardt, or at least help yourselves to try and take that away from Ford, but you had a great run.
I don't think we could have done I don't think we could have got Dale anyway. You know, he kept moving down there, and I'd mosey down there a little bit with him, and he couldn't do nothing with Dale Jarrett. And I knew as soon as I went down there, somebody was going to shoot the gap, and I'd be looking at 7th or 8th. So, you know, it ain't my responsibility to worry about where he finished.
Last year you didn't have such a great year, but now you've got Ray Evernham helping you out. Does this mean the way you ran today, is this how you're going to go through the year?
I sure hope it is. I sure hope it is. I mean, I think it was Ray Evernham, Phil Hammer have helped us a ton, and I think that it's just how the Budweiser car is going to run all year.
So you're looking for a really good year here in 1996. The last time you had such a good year was 1993. 94 wasn't bad. 95 was a disaster. 96 is going to really look good.
I'm ready. The whole Budweiser team is.
Okay, well, there's Kenny Schrader looking remarkably perspiring. Back to you, Ken.
Roush Cars had a great day. 5th, 7th, 8th position out here. Martin came across the line, and before it was over, Musgrave 7th, and then in 8th was the 3rd car with Burton. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
With Mark Martin, you were so much faster in the race than you were all week. Where'd you find your speed?
Well, we didn't have much speed, but we were in the draft. You know, we had cars behind us, cars in front of us. I want to thank all the guys at Roush Racing, Valvoline, Cummins, Ford, and Gillette, Bosch, all those guys. we're going to get them a win soon. We didn't have enough car to race for the win today, but we'll take fourth in Daytona 500 and go on and try to win the next one.
Ken Squire? 32 lead changes among 15 drivers. 17 cars in the lead lap when it was over in the great American race.
A race can end in many ways. Too often, so can a career. That's why when Ernie Irvin returned to racing for Texaco Haviland, people sat up and took notice. It's no surprise to us to see him, though. We've always known. For Ernie, the race isn't over until he says it's over. Welcome back to racing, Ernie. It's good to have you back on track.
They can make a rough road feel this smooth. They can make the most demanding road feel safer. And right now, Monroe Sensatrack shocks and struts are on sale. Buy 3 and get the 4th one free. That's one safe deal. Buy 3 and get the 4th one free. Only on Monroe Sensatrack, only for a limited time. So go straight to a Monroe Ride Expert Center today. Or call 1-800-STRUT now.
I got Prime Star because I love news and sitcoms and dramas and sports. I always wanted to play football. Oh. Maybe not. Okay, so I admit I love TV. And with Prime Star's 95 channels, I get it all in digital, picture, and sound. You want to know the best part? You don't have to buy the dish. Prime Star is a service. There's no equipment to buy. And it all starts at about $1 a day. Enjoy.
Call 1-800-PRIME-STAR.
Enter the Performance Zone with Splitfire Performance V spark plugs.
You hit your passing gear, you're gone.
Experts say Splitfire Performance V spark plugs mean more horsepower and better mileage.
The difference in gas mileage has been fantastic.
Enter the Performance Zone only with Splitfire Performance Vs, guaranteed. And now, with any Splitfire purchase, get the best of NASCAR or NHRA for just $9.99.
CBS Sports presentation of the Daytona 500 is sponsored by Texaco Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Controls volatility and fights vaporization. Burger King, where you can get your burger's worth. And by Splitfire. Enter the Performance Zone with Splitfire Performance V spark plugs.
Take a look at how Jarrett was able to persevere in this final lap.
Well, you see, he makes a move there. Watch Jarrett start to pull away as they going into turn 3 there. I mean, this car is really strong down the straightaway. As they go by, that was the start-finishing line there. Watch who goes by now.
After the race was over, the black number 3 did make it by the 88. But where it counted at the finish line, it made Dale Jarrett a second Daytona 500 winner, a second-time Daytona 500 winner. Great story written here today, folks. Thrilling race. More in a moment.
In 1995, you saw Ford win big in NASCAR. Watched Ford win one off-road title after another. Watched Ford win the Trans Am Championship. And saw Ford Cosworth win the Indy 500. But have you seen what we're doing with all the winnings?
This is incredible.
Incredible.
What is it?
The double supreme cheeseburger. It's new. Brand new.
Same kind of stuff as the Big Mac.
Yeah, but I like this better.
Oh, that's because Burger King flame broils them.
It's got a lot more beef. A lot more beef.
Gonna take all lunch hour to finish one.
The Burger King Double Supreme Cheeseburger. Less bread and 75% more beef than the Big Mac. And it's flame broiled, never fried. With fries and a drink, just $2.99.
Well, back to work. What's the rush?
Yeah. You don't think we're gonna be that busy, do you?
You've got 700 horsepower trucks. You've got Craftsman tools. You've got heart-pounding, bone-rattling, eardrum-busting speed. What else do you need for a perfect Sunday afternoon? The all-new NASCAR Super Truck Series, brought to you by Craftsman. The only tools tough enough for super trucks.
Indiana-Michigan basketball coming up on CBS Next. Let's go to David Hobbs.
With Jeff Burton, you were having some words there with Ted Musgrave. What was that about?
Well, Ted and I are teammates, and Mark and Ted and I all three are teammates, and I'm the new guy in here. And Ted made a move, and we had told him, my spotter told his spotter we'd go with him wherever we went. And I guess the message didn't get relayed that I was way too tight up top, and he went up top, and I just couldn't run up there. If I ran up there, I had to really get out of the gas, and so I had to stay on the bottom, and it cost him some spots. I don't blame him for being upset, but I think when he understands what happens, everything will be okay.
Seems like a bit of a communication problem even on the racetrack, Ken.
Communications problem indeed. There was no problem in the communications with the number 88 car. The 61 and 65 Winston Cup champion was a guy named Ned Jarrett. Now there is a two-time champion in the biggest race at this series run. His kid, Dale Jarrett, looked terrific out here today. As you take a look at these final results, the unofficial results for the final time on today's race. Musgrave ended up in 7th. Elliott was 8th. Michael Waltrip. What's it mean to win this race, Russ, buddy?
Well, it's just everything. I can't imagine what he must be feeling right now. Dale Jarrett, well, I did win it, but not twice. Dale Jarrett has to just feel like everything's great today, and this is what you're groomed for, the Daytona 500.
And, of course, a lot of disappointments here for a lot of drivers today. Those that came in here with thinking they could win the Daytona 500. One of them was Ernie Irvin. Of course, he went out early. And John Andretti ran very strong. Sterling Marlin had his problems. So, where there's glory, there's also disappointments.
It sure is, 42. And Zachary, is that?
No, that's Robert Yates.
That's Robert
grandson.
Yates' grandson.
Yeah, his only grandson.
Oh, gracious.
Doug's son.
Yeah. Bored with it all. All right. That's it today for the 38th running of the Daytona 500. For Ned Jarrett, Buddy Baker, Mike Joy, David Hobbs, and Dick Berggren, Ken Squire saying so long from Daytona Beach. For today, Dale Jarrett has won the Daytona 500. Coming up next, CBS Sports continues its coverage of NCAA basketball as the Indiana Hoosiers take on the Michigan Wolverines in a Big Ten battle. Daytona 500 has been a presentation of CBS Sports.